Hello and welcome to the live telecast of the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby Day. Here on Neo Sports, I'm Mandira Lalwani. It is my pleasure, my absolute privilege to bring to you all the action, all the activities from the Mumbai race course. Let me just remind you, it's the 75th running of the Indian Derby, so it's a huge milestone as far as the race is concerned. This is the one race that the entire Indian racing fraternity looks forward to the entire year. This is the one race that has people flocking to the race course like days gone by. Today, we have with us here in the studio the dapper trainer Neil Darashah, who was a cricketer to start with and then he became a racehorse trainer. We'll talk about that in just a second, but Neil, a very, very warm welcome. How does it feel to be here for the big day?
It's great to be here, Mandira. Thanks for having me. It's an absolute pleasure, and I hope the day is going to be great.
Thanks very much. Neil, you've been in the game for long enough. Your father, your grandfather, you're very, very familiar with the sport. Just to kind of give it context, how significant is the Indian Derby for those that don't understand racing?
Well, it's the biggest race in the whole year, in the racing calendar. Every owner, every trainer wants to win it, every jockey. Every horse they buy is prepared for this one day, for this one race. So that's how important it is.
Absolutely right. It is such a significant race. But we won't get to that just yet. We have a few more races on the race card which we will show to you. Before we go to the main race, let's have a quick look at what these races are. We will start with the MAM Ramaswamy Multimillion. Now this is a race for 3-year-olds. Then we will go on to the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion. As the name suggests, it's a maiden race, which means nobody who's running this race has ever won a race. And then, of course, is the grand finale. It is the Group 1 Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, run over 2,400 meters. That's at 5:10 p.m. So 3 races on the card today on this telecast. The one most exciting thing about the Derby weekend, I think, is the quality of the race card.
Absolutely. Everyone's going to bring out their best horses. Even if it's a maiden, they're going to bring out a maiden they think very highly of. And it's always going to be good racing.
What's your fondest memory of the Indian Derby?
Gosh, I remember Jacqueline comes to mind, beating Beckett. Great race. I had met Beckett in the Bangalore Derby a week earlier and run second to him. And I was hoping he came out and won, but Jacqueline did something unbelievable that day.
As far as Bangalore and Mumbai are concerned, we've seen, like you said, Beckett won in Bangalore, but he could not, sustain that against Jacqueline. Similarly, over the past couple of years, we've seen the Calcutta Derby winners coming out here and making a mark, whether it was Desert God last year and coming over here.
In the spotlight, Psychic Flame, horses that come to mind. It gives the horse enough time to travel from Calcutta to come here, and getting the benefit of already running a mile and a half. So that's a big advantage. Absolutely right.
Also, the track makes a lot of difference, doesn't it?
Sure.
The way the race course is laid out. And how important is the track, the surface itself?
Absolutely. It's like a cricket match. Some teams might like a fast track, some teams might like a slow track. Similarly with horses, a lot of horses might like the Bombay track because it's a fast, genuine, it gives you a genuine result. So the good horse is going to definitely come out and win.
Speaking of the Bombay track, Mohit Lalwani is down there with Aslam K. Let's have a look at what the Bombay track is looking like.
For that, Mandira, and yes, it is the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature Packaged Water. And let me start by saying how happy I am to have a master of this racetrack, Aslam K, who's not just excited, but he's thrilled so many here on Derby Day with, and for me, the one that stands out most of all will always be amongst his many victories, will always be Elusive Pimpernel. But this is a man who knows this track better than anyone else. Aslam, it just doesn't get bigger for a jockey, for an owner like me, for a trainer. This is the biggest event.
सबसे पहला तो बहुत बहुत शुक्र है आपने मुझे यहाँ बुलाया और मेरा एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करने के लिए। ये जो रेस के लिए मेरा कहना है कि काफ़ी ओनर लोग ये रेस के लिए घोड़े खरीदते हैं, लेकिन इसमें बहुत बड़ा इंसान का टीम वर्क का बहुत ज़रूरी है यहाँ पर। और जैसे आप कह रहे हैं ट्रैक के बारे में, ये रेस के लिए जो इंसान देखा जाए तो इतना ठंडे दिमाग से सवारी करनी चाहिए, अपने घोड़े के बारे में याद करना चाहिए। और जैसे आप ट्रैक की बात करें, ट्रैक तो बहुत अच्छा है आज का, इतना अच्छा फॉर्म ट्रैक है ये। बिल्कुल रही पेस की और इसकी बात, तो सवार ने बिल्कुल ठंडे दिमाग से जो इंस्ट्रक्शन है उसको फॉलो करना चाहिए। फिर उसके बाद में टर्न फॉर्म, पहला टर्न, सेकेंड टर्न, उसके बाद में क्या पेस हो रहा है, हम कहाँ बैठे हैं, हमारा डेंजर कहाँ पे होगा, कितना है उसके मतलब ट्रैवल किस तरह कर रहा है, वो बिल्कुल अपने आराम से सोच के स्ट्राइड बाय स्ट्राइड बिल्कुल ध्यान रखना चाहिए हर सवार को। ये स्पेशल ये रेस के लिए कहते हैं ना कि 100% नहीं 110% उसको अपने आप को तैयार करना पड़ेगा सवार।
And Aslam, this is one race. It's over 2,400 meters, a mile and a half. Generally, draw should not make a difference here. But right out of the gates, this is where the race will start and finish. Right out of the gates, we come and hit a turn. Now, in a mile and a half, this is one of the few races where getting a good draw is important.
नहीं, मेरा मानना इसमें दूसरा है कि माइल एंड हाफ के अंदर आपको कोई ड्रॉ का मायने नहीं रखता है, क्योंकि मोस्ट प्रॉब्ली द जॉकी जितने भी है वो ऑफ द ब्राइडल बैठते हैं, पीछे बैठते हैं, क्योंकि रिलैक्स करते हैं घोड़े को, तो ड्रॉ का मायने। हाँ, अगर घोड़ा बहुत कीन बीन है तो उस सवार को बहुत सोचना पड़ता है कि मुझे कहीं स्ट्रगल ना पड़े, तोड़ ताड़ के ना बैठना पड़े, ये बहुत ज़रूरी होता है। अब जैसे कि आज जो घोड़े भाग रहे हैं, जैसे कि वो हॉल ऑफ फेमर है और सार्जेंट आर्म है, ये जहाँ तक मैंने इनका रेस देखा हूँ ये बिल्कुल रिलैक्स होते हैं, कोई भी पोजीशन पे लोग आराम से जॉकी को ट्रबल नहीं देंगे, मतलब बहुत कीन नहीं होंगे।
It's a long course, it's a long straight, but the back straight, it's very important to have a position where your horse can switch off in the back straight, isn't it?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। देखो, मैं यहाँ पर 3 डार्बी था, इंडियन डार्बी, तो तीनों अलग अलग घोड़े थे, लेकिन जो एस्ट्रोनॉमिक था तो उसमें मैंने चॉइस किया था उसमें, क्योंकि अस्टाउंडिंग भी कैलकाटा डार्बी जीत के आया था। हम लोग जंप आउट करके पहले उसको घोड़े को स्विच ऑफ करते ताकि रिलैक्स हो सके। बाद में ये टर्न होने के 1800 मीटर, वहां से आपको ध्यान रखना है कि आप कहाँ बैठे हो, डेंजर कहाँ होगा, कि क्या पेस वक्त चल रहा है, क्या पेस जा रहे हैं, कि मैं ज्यादा पीछे तो नहीं बैठा हूँ या मैं ज्यादा आगे तो नहीं बैठा हूँ। ये बहुत जरूरी है बैक स्ट्रेट में जॉकी को सोचना।
And where do you have to get when you need to be in the striking position? What is the point where you say, this is where I need to be to strike for home?
देखिए, मैं जब तक सवारी किया तो हम लोग 6 के बाद में हमारी जो ट्यूबलाइट बहुत पावरफुल करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि जो पेस मेकर होता है या घोड़े इतने ये लाइक नहीं होते तो ड्रॉप होना चालू, तो ऐसा नहीं हो कि गलत घोड़े को फॉलो कर रहे हैं हम। तो बिल्कुल एक हम कहने का मतलब ये है कि बाल से बारीक से भी आपको अपने घोड़े को सेव करना है, क्योंकि ये रेस के लिए हर ट्रेनर हर जॉकी अच्छे होते हैं, वो लोग मिस्टेक करने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो हम हर जॉकी का ये काम है कि मिस्टेक ना करे, बिल्कुल संभाल के अपने घोड़े को इंटरफेरेंस ना हो, टाइमिंग बराबर हो और आके रेस जीते।
Timing, very important, because this is a very long straight and you can go to the front too early. We saw what happened with Satellite, if you remember. But at the end of the day, this is a long straight. Your timing has to be perfect.
बिल्कुल। देखिए, तो जब तुम ये जो घोड़ा इस रेस में बैठ रहे हो तो आपको ये ध्यान रखना है कि उसका टर्न ऑफ फुट कितना है, क्योंकि इसके पहले आप काम में बैठे हो, रेस में बैठे हो, ये लंबा स्ट्रेट है। अगर आप जल्दी गए तो कोई आके आपको मारेगा, अब लेट आए तो सामने वाला पहुंच जाएगा। तो आपका टाइमिंग बिल्कुल परफेक्ट होना चाहिए।
Let's take a look at the track, Aslam. It's very firm today, isn't it?
बिल्कुल फॉर्म, एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास ट्रैक है ये आज के लिए, बिल्कुल एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास ट्रैक है। जो डार्बी के रनर ज्यादा करके हो गए, ये रेलिंग की तरफ हो गए, अगर हम वहां देख लें तो वो भी बेटर होगा आगे।
And this is the kind of track where you can go to the front, you can come from behind. It's perfect. It suits every kind of horse.
ये बिल्कुल यहाँ से भागेंगे घोड़े, बिल्कुल यहाँ से भागेंगे ये।
This is slightly damper, isn't it, Aslam? Slightly, थोड़ा सा स्प्रिंग है।
हाँ, थोड़ा स्प्रिंग बहुत अच्छा है ये जो है ट्रैक बिल्कुल घोड़े को हेल्प करेगा। जितना उसका जो हम कहते हैं ना कि जॉइंट जब जाके ऐसा टेंडन उठेगा तो टर्न होगा बिल्कुल उसका पैर, और वो इंजॉय करेगा इस ट्रैक के ऊपर।
Very good. There you have it. The expert with me. That was a lesson for me as well. Mandira, back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much for that, Mohit. Aslam Kader, what a legend. The perspective he puts in everything. We got a fantastic insight into a jockey's mind. Now, let me get an insight into yours. You know, on all the points he spoke about. Firstly, let's start with the draw. The fact that the minute that the horses jump out, the turn is around the corner.
Yeah.
So how significant really is the draw?
Well, if I had a horse running here, I would prefer to have an inside draw or a middle draw. I would like to get my cover quick without using too much fuel and getting caught out wide. So it's as simple as that. I know these top riders, you know, they have the confidence to sort of get settled in from any draw. But as a trainer, the first thing you want is a nice draw to get covered up.
And I'm guessing your heart is in your mouth the entire time.
Sure, absolutely.
So, like he was explaining to us how a jockey rides and what he's thinking. Of course, he's the one who's doing the job and he's riding on the spot and thinking on the spot. As far as the trainer is concerned, you know, most of the work is done before the race.
Yes.
Tell me what all goes into it, you know, into Derby prep specifically for this kind of distance.
See, you're going into a distance which is, you really need extreme fitness. You need the ability to get the distance honestly, and you need to have your horse extremely fit to 120%, not even 100%. You need your respiratory system and your cardiovascular system to be in top order for today. Right? So you need all that oxygen to be taken through the respiratory system into the lungs and then produce this energy on the day. So you need your horse to be very healthy. A long, good preparation, long work. It goes into a lot of long work, and your horse has to be 100% fit. And
the spurts, the final spurts are normally on a Thursday before the race.
See, it depends on the horse. Some horses might like to spurt closer to the race. Some horses might like to spurt a little further away to reserve that energy. So the trainer has to just be connected and know his horse.
Well, our team was there on trackside on Thursday morning, and it was breakfast with the champions. The beautiful canvas was that of the Derby contenders going their final paces, and everybody had a chance to go behind the scenes and see the workings, the machinery of the race course. Went to the stables, to the swimming pool. I won't say any more. I'll let you have a look.
You pick it up from the canter from the 4 furlong so that he gets warmed up completely. Gradually pick it on the stride side because it's going to be short for him. But 2 furlong you just get into the momentum with that last 1 furlong, sharpen him up, you know. What we do in the furlong. Pick her like this, tap on the shoulder and go. Go low on the shirt. Here, here. You should be touching the horse's neck and then cut out like.
Horses really make for such pretty pictures, and one of the highlights of this year's event of the Breakfast with Champions was this demonstration of speed between a car and a horse. And believe you me, I was there. The car's engine was on. It was not a made-up race of sorts. It was genuinely a demonstration of speed, and the genuine horsepower, which is the thoroughbred, actually won on pure merit. We're going to slip into a quick break here on Winning Post Live. When we return, it's right to the business of horse racing. Make sure you stay with us.
This February on Neo Sports and Neo Prime. Passion erupts. If it's love at first sight, or if you fall head over heels in love, you should know that love hurts. And if it's love on the rocks, you can always kiss and make up, because there ain't no love lost. All is fair in love and sports. This February, live and exclusive on Neo Prime and Neo Sports.
Watch
Haryana's biggest cricket extravaganza of the year, the Swarna Jayanti Haryana Premier League Cricket T20 Championship. 6 teams featuring new talent: Panchkula Kings, Kurukshetra Tigers, Hisar Bulls, Gurugram Gladiators, Sirsa Warriors, and Rohtak Blasters will battle for 10 days and 18 premier matches for the Haryana T20 Championship. The Swarna Jayanti Haryana Premier League Cricket T20 Championship. Saturday, 4th February to Monday, 13th February. Tournament organised by Fairplay and GDS Memorial Cricket Society. Tournament supported by Haryana Government. Live and exclusive on Neo Prime.
The PGA Tour takes over the Monterey Peninsula for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Navigating their way over 3 courses at Pebble Beach are amateurs and pros alike, all looking to go low at the penultimate event in California.
Welcome back. You're watching Winning Post live on Neo Sports, and we're bringing you all the action from the Mahalakshmi Racecourse, which is filled with people, thronged with crowds today, as all the roads in Mumbai especially lead to the Mahalakshmi Racecourse for the running of the Kingfisher Ultra India Derby, partnered by Signature. Such a glorious sight to be seeing so many people at the racecourse, because racing, as we know, is struggling for viewership and is struggling for patronage. But this is the one day that kind of puts it all into perspective and says, look, there's potential. Isn't that right, Neil?
Absolutely. Everyone lives for this day. It's the best opportunity for us to sort of advertise what we're all about. So, you know, it's always nice to have new faces at the racecourse. It gives us a little bit of pleasure.
Okay, let's start talking about the racing now. The first race we're going to be discussing today is the Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy Multimillion. Now, this, of course, is a race for 3-year-old maidens, and it's over a mile, which is the interesting part. You know, a bit early, perhaps, for 3-year-olds to be going over this trip. What do you reckon?
Well, I wouldn't say a bit early, but there are 2 important things that come into play here. One is, does the horse actually have the ability to get the mile at this stage in his career? And an important part which affects that is the fitness of the horse. Now, you need to have a good trainer to assess that. You don't take a young horse into a race like this without much fitness. So the fitness, again, the respiratory system and the cardiovascular system has to be in top order for a young horse to go into a race like this. So that's very important, because you have 2 types of respiration. You go into aerobic and anaerobic, which is very, very important. And your trainer has to assess that well before you go into a race like this with a young horse.
What an interesting perspective. So the fitness, of course, has to be top-notch, and the ability to get this trip at this age. Okay, let's have a quick look at the race card for today. Now we have 12 horses that are going to the start. Number 1 is Admo. He's being ridden by Neeraj Raval and trained by Naushir Kama. Number 2, Art of War, ridden by Bhavani Singh, trained by Narendra Lagat. Connoisseur from Narendra Lagat's yard again, ridden by Dashrath Singh. Gold Bond from Imtiaz Seth's yard, ridden by Y.S. Srinath. Lord of the Sea, ridden by P. Trevor and trained by Pacey Shroff Maguire, trained by B. Prakash, ridden by Christopher Alford. Perfect Star, which of course is the horse to watch out for, as Neil pointed out earlier, ridden by P.S. Chauhan, trained by Kartik Ganpati. Pure Zinc, trained by Adhirat Singh Jodha, ridden by Joy Chinoy. That's the first half of the race card. Horse number 9, Samarjeet, trained by S.K. Sundarji and ridden by C.S. Jodha. We Break the Rules, trained by Kuji Katrak and ridden by Suraj Naredu. Emotionless, trained by Kuji Katrak again and ridden by Amin Merchant. And Zanara makes up the 12th runner for this race. David Allen will be riding, and Dallas Todiwala is the trainer. Let's start with Admo, Neil. You know, he's run a good third behind Rafina, who seems to be the horse to watch out for, one of India's top heroes right now. That form should take him really close in this one.
Well, I think so. You know, if you've run close to Rafina, Rafina's come out and smashed another field very convincingly over 7.5 lengths with David Allen up. So that puts this horse in with a small chance. There's no doubt about it. So let's have a look. Let's see how this horse looks in the paddock.
So that is horse number 1. Admo now is owned by Mr. Jaydev Modi, trained by Naushir Kama. That's horse number 2, Art of War. Now again, the same race as Rafina, a long way behind Admo. Now how difficult is it to make up so much ground in such little time?
Very difficult. Mostly impossible. Doesn't really happen, doesn't usually happen. Difficult. I don't think this horse will be able to make up that sort of ground.
Okay, just going horse-wise. Okay, that's horse number 6. And what are your thoughts on McGuire?
Well,
sorry to interrupt you, Neil. Horse number 7 just came on the screen. I think we're getting erratic visuals of the horses. Let's just go, one by one. Let's talk about horse number 7. Perfect Star is the one you've said is the horse to look out for, right?
Yes, you can see that this horse has run a 7 furlong, lost by a nose. So this horse is as good as the winner, okay? He's coming here just losing a race by a nose with a very, very good timing of about 125.7. So this horse comes in with first chances, no doubt about it. Again, excellent art. Excellent arts are flying. They're winning everywhere. First chance, Perfect Star.
I really hope for Karthik's sake that he does have a winner, because I know it's been a string of seconds for a while now, and I'm sure that can be really frustrating as a trainer.
Absolutely, especially for a young trainer when you know you've got the stock. You know, things just don't go your way on the day, small mistakes. But it is frustrating. But then you always have another chance to show your stuff.
That's the beauty about this sport specifically. What about the other horses? So Admo's one for sure. Perfect Star according to you. What about Zanara?
Well, again, another horse that's run second. I know Dallas is quite sweet on this horse. Another horse bred at Poonawalla Stud Farm. So again, good chance here.
And if you just go to focus on Connoisseur for just a second, now this is a baby running for the first time over a mile, right? So in this scenario, again, it comes back to the ability and fitness, or how does one?
Well, Mr. Lagarde, I'm sure, must have assessed this horse pretty well before putting it into a race like this. Each trainer knows their horses, so benefit of the doubt. Let's go with that.
All right, that's horse number 8 on our screens. Pure Zinc, trained by Adhiraj. Anything here?
I don't think so. Again, coming in without a run, difficult Mandira.
Okay, horse number 4, Gold Bond, also finished a decent third behind Timeless Deeds, but then Timeless Deed failed to perform thereafter, so the form isn't looking too good here. What are your thoughts?
Okay, the first of the Dean's Kittens. If you look over here, we've got 2 Dean's Kittens in this race. A first season stallion from Sona Stud Farm. Hasn't fired yet because, honestly speaking, Dean's Kitten covered a bit late. The horses were a little bit late, a little small. They're just going to come to hand. So let's watch out for these 2 Dean's Kittens.
That's interesting. As far as the sire scene is concerned in the Indian breeding industry as of now, who would you think tops the charts?
At the moment, Excellent Arts firing, and then you've got another very precocious sire in Phoenix Tower. All his young horses come out and they're blazing. So these 2 stallions initially are really good.
All right, we have Admo on the screen once again over there. Now this is Western Aristocrat out of Great White. And as we just said earlier, he ran a good third behind Rafina. So this definitely, I don't know why I have a feeling, Neil, it's going to be Admo.
Possible. You know, you've had a run under your belt. The horse has run a nice race. So let's have a look. Let's see.
All right, the horses, I think, are making their way onto the track. That's horse number 7. Perfect Star is the one to watch out for, according to Neil Darashah. Let's have a look at what Mohit and Aslam think about this race and its runners.
Well, the last of the horses has left the paddock, and for the Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy Multimillion, this is over a mile. A long way for juveniles to go, Aslam, very early in their career.
बिल्कुल ज़रूरी है, ज़्यादा हो गया माइल ये लोग के लिए, लेकिन इसमें जो थोड़े बच्चे हैं 1400 भी भागे हैं तो शायद ले ले.
Okay, let's talk about the form, what we liked in the paddock. And Aslam, everybody wants to know what your 1-2 is. I'm sure some will want to know mine, but most will want to know what yours is. Let's talk about them. For me, Admo was one horse that I think you cannot ignore. He's run a very good third behind Rufina. Rufina is becoming one of the top 3-year-olds recognizable here in India right now.
मोहित, आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं. रफीना जो जीती है, अभी तक जो सीजन के अपने बच्चे भागे हैं, मेरे ख्याल सबसे ज्यादा इम्प्रेसिव रन उसी बच्ची का है. और आप बता रहे उसके पीछे ये भागा है, बिल्कुल सही. और देखना है ये माइल भी जाएगा या नहीं जाएगा, लेकिन मेरा कहना इसके अंदर ये है, ये जो 12 नंबर है दंजारा, ये मुझे ज्यादा पसंद आती है इसके अंदर.
Zanara's run behind Timeless Deeds. Aslam, for me, the problem comes with this form because Timeless Deeds after that ran way down. And for me, I love to see babies pick up on their form and go on from there.
बिल्कुल ऐसा 2-3 बच्चे भी मार खाए जो इम्प्रेसिव जीतने के बाद. जैसे कि हम कल ही देखे थे, एक बच्चा खराब भागा है, वो टाइमलेस जो वगैरह था खराब भागा है. लेकिन जो इस सवार जो बैठा है डेविड एलन, जो लास्ट टाइम इसने रफीना को जो सवारी दिया, जो टाइमिंग किया, पिकअप किया, वेरी गुड. तो मुझे लगता है आज भी वो वही करेगा.
Now there's 2 horses in this race that are coming from the Glyndebourne form. One is Pacey Shroff's Lord of the Sea. Pacey Shroff's horses always improve. Their babies always improve from one run to the next. But he's got to find 11 lengths on Perfect Star, who was a no second to Glyndebourne.
11 लेन इम्प्रूव करना बहुत बड़ी बात है एक बच्चे के लिए, खास करके. तो कह नहीं सकते रेसिंग है, लेकिन 11 लेन नहीं होता है.
Alright, Aslam, give me your 1-2 and an outsider.
12 my first choice, 7 is second choice. अभी आउटसाइडर मुझे 10 लगता है इसमें.
Okay, unbelievable. We have not discussed this. My first choice, number 1. My second choice is number 7. My outsider is number 10.
Good luck.
Zanara's definitely in the race with a very good chance. There's no doubt about it. It's run second. And if you look, Mandira, the horse has run over 7 furlongs. So that's a big advantage. Whereas number 1 has run only a 6 furlong race. Whether Admo can get the mile is going to be a question.
Absolutely right. And of course then David Allen, as Aslam pointed out. Again, you know, we very interestingly see the jockey championing and the jockey perspective coming out. That's only natural. But really how much of a game changer is a jockey like David Allen on Zanara?
Huge. It can make a huge difference. You time a race wrong, you go at the wrong speed, the wrong pace through the race, you jump early, you have a poor finish. A jockey makes a huge difference. It's like a racing car driver. The mechanic sets it up, gives it to the driver, and the driver makes a mistake, you're done.
Absolutely right. So Aslam says number 12 Zanara is his first choice. He says Perfect Star is his second choice, and We Break the Rules is his third choice. And Mohit says Admo is his first choice, and Perfect Star is his second. Let me have your picks.
Well, I'll stick with the Excellent Art. They're just firing all over the country. And I'll just stick with that. Perfect Star, number 7, first choice. Zanara, second choice. Admo, third.
Okay, I think I'm going to not say anything here. But the horses are on their way to the starting gates. You know, just based on the way they're looking and based on the paddock looks, you know, anything that is standing out, apart from the beautiful crowd that we have there, of course.
They're all looking well, Mandira. But again, Perfect Star is looking very well.
Well, that's footage coming in from the Mahalakshmi race course. And you know, the beauty about the Indian Derby weekend, as we've been saying again and again, of course, it's the second year of its association with Kingfisher Ultra. So it's now the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby in partnership with Signature. And this weekend really draws so much attention and so many people. There are at least 25,000 people on ground at the Mahalakshmi race course who are here today to watch the spectacular race card of all top races. Each race more competitive than the other, each race more and more exciting. Top horses from all over the country that make their way to Mumbai, and of course the top professionals, top owners, jockeys, breeders. It's really such a festival of sorts. Almost ashamed to be sitting in the studio. But well, it's air conditioned, I'm not complaining. When the horses make their way to the starting gates as we see them, does it take a lot out of them, or how does the jockey make sure that it's a gentle canter? What is your instructions normally?
See, you just want to keep the horse as relaxed as possible. You have, like any athlete, you're going to have different horses with different temperaments. You want to play along with that. You don't want to be forcing the horse to do something that you wanted to do. Let him do what he has to do. We were just looking at a top Japanese sprinter recently who has this whole jig before he goes down to the gates. Group 1 winning sprinter, just keeps doing circles and circles before he gets down to the gates. Now, you don't want the jockey to be stopping that process. He's adjusting himself, he's getting ready, he knows he's going to be racing. You want to go with the flow.
As far as the gates are concerned, we see that especially with the younger horses. What does it take to train a horse to jump out of the gates? What are the challenges that you face?
Oh, tremendous. That's one of the biggest parts of training a young horse. Getting them relaxed, getting them to understand they're not going to be hurt from this whole machine, this contraption standing there. So you want the horse to be relaxed, have confidence. The horse needs confidence. To walk into the gate and to trust that rider, the horse needs confidence. That's what you have to instill with a young horse.
As far as training is concerned, how much of it is instinctive and how much is learnt?
The best trainers in the world train from their gut. You can learn as much, you can learn from a book, but if you have that connection with the horse, that makes a huge difference.
And when did you find yours? When did you know this was it?
I was actually playing cricket in Bombay when I went to the races with my dad, and I led in a horse and I said, that's it. I gave up cricket overnight to race horses. Yeah.
And have you ever looked back?
No, I'm very happy where I am today.
I think that's incredible. So you came to the races one day and you knew this was your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
How phenomenal. And I think that's an important message. I will come back to that discussion in just a second. I think the horses are starting to get loaded into the starting gates. Actually, I think we have a couple of minutes more. Especially in this generation where cricket is so revered, and I mean, it's a great sport. I love all forms of it, especially Test. But for a youngster to say, the charm, the attraction, the money and all that goes with it of cricket, to be able to give it up overnight and say, I'm going for this profession, which today could almost be under threat because of the plight of racing in our country.
Sure. Mandira, to be honest, I gave up in 2003. So that was before IPL.
Wow. Well, you never know. You might have a second chance. Let's go back to the race course. I think the horses are being loaded, but just had you had the IPL around, would your decision have been different?
I would have definitely tried, definitely given it a shot before I made up my mind.
But you play cricket recreationally now?
Not really, no.
So what do you do to relax?
I play a little golf with David Allen.
Oh, really? So you know all the tricks and tips before you actually go out there. As Neil was just explaining to us, this is, how the horses relax before going into the gates. There's no pressure. There's no blueprint. Each horse takes his own time. There's his own relaxation techniques that obviously every jockey is familiar with. And slowly they're loaded into the starting gates. These are the starting gates. These numbers that you can see on top of the gates are the draw. That is the draw from which the horse will jump out. Now, these draws are picked out by a computer. It's all very, very hygienic and systematically done. And the luck of the draw does really matter, doesn't it? Especially in a race like this.
It does make a difference, but in a mile and in Bombay, not so much in Bombay. If you were in Bangalore with a tight turn, a tight course with an uphill climb, the draw is a huge breaker there. But in Bombay, it's more forgiving. It's a more genuine track. It's more forgiving, so it doesn't play such a big role.
Neil, how many horses do you have in your yard?
I train 50 at the moment.
50. So 50 horses, 50 temperaments, 50 personalities. Yeah. Just explain the workings of it, the art of training really, and what all goes into it, the challenges you face, the method of running a tight ship, just to...
Well, I believe in running, like you said, running a tight ship. I believe there's only one captain. You've got to run a very, very tight ship in the sense that you've got to have a lot of dedication. You've got to have a lot of connect with the horses, and you've got to connect with your staff. If you don't connect with any of these important parts of the whole process, you're not going to be a good trainer.
I think that's the formula for most successful trainers. When I've spoken to Malaysia, Pacey, and they've always said the same thing. You've got to be on top of things. You can't be lackadaisical in your attitude. Well, The results show, and I think that's fantastic. Well, let's go over to the commentator. I think the horses are being loaded. It's best to go there where the action is.
Admo has been pushed in. Magua has been stalled. The blinds have been put on Art of War. Art of War walks in. Blindfolded Gold Bond being led up. Gold Bond has been stalled. The rider has dismounted Pure Zinc. Lord of the Sea being led towards the gates. We break the rules, moves in. Zanara goes in quietly. Riderless, Pure Zinc being tried. Lord of the Sea being pushed in, just waiting for the riderless Pure Zinc.
Your attention please. In this race, horse number 8, Pure Zinc, has been withdrawn. I repeat, number 8, Pure Zinc, has been withdrawn.
They're all in. They're off and racing for the Dr. M.M. Ramaswamy Multimillion. Even start by all the runners. And as they settle down to race, it's emotionless, the leader. Emotionless, about a length and a half in front of Bagua in second position as they come towards the 1400 meter marker. On the outside there's Admo in third. Towards the wide outside there is Zanara making quick progress to be well in touch with the leaders. A length and a quarter further back there's Samarjit. Perfect stars right with them. A length and a quarter further back there is Art of War towards the inside. There is being tracked on the outside by Lord of the Sea. Then comes Konoji on the outside. In the middle there's We Break the Rules, and towards the inside is Gold Bond. Back to the leaders, it's still emotionless, the leader, about a length in front of Magua in second position. Admo is third, being tracked on the outside by Zanara. Towards the inside race is Samarjit, very close behind his Perfect Star. A length further back there's Art of War along with Lord of the Sea. On the outside there is emotionless as they come towards the 600 meter marker and begin to negotiate the home turn. We Break the Rules, and in the rear there is Gold Bond as they straighten up for home. Into the straight, emotionless comes in home first, got a leader for about a length and a half in front of Admo, inching closer. Samarjit looking for room in the middle. On the outside, Perfect Star coming up with a nice run on the outside to take charge. It's Perfect Star on the outside who goes ahead about a length and a half in front of Lord of the Sea, moving into second position in chase. A length and a half, 2 lengths for the back. There's Admo, and towards the inside race is Gold Bond with about 150 meters more to run. It's Perfect Star now broken away about 2.5 lengths clear and going on to win this one. Perfect Star wins the Dr. M.M. Ramaswamy Multimillion from Lord of the Sea, finishing up second. Then there is We Break the Rules coming from a long way back to finish a good third. After that there is Art of War, and the rest as the race past the finish.
All right, there we have it. We'll wait the official confirmation of the result, but it's pretty clear out there. That was horse number 7, Perfect Star. Your pick, Neil. Well done. Take me through the race as you saw it.
Well, yes, Mandira. Like I said, the excellent arts are just firing. This horse is as good as a winner already because he's lost his last start over 7 furlongs by a nose. So that brings him in big time in this race. Now, if he had come on with his previous start, if he shows any improvement, you know he's got this race taped. And he's got the mile beautifully. So he had the run of the race as well. He was settled beautifully by P.S. Chauhan, one of his good rides in a long time. And it was actually an easy job.
And look at him playing to the galleries, you know.
Yeah.
What a lovely day to have a winner. What a fantastic day for racing. And I'm feeling specifically really especially happy for Karthik Ganpati. He's had a bad run the past few weeks. A lot of seconds, as we were just discussing. So that just makes this win even more special.
Like I always say, seconds are better than thirds. So it's a matter of time. If you're running second, it's going to turn for you.
Absolutely right. So Perfect Star is the winner, as Neil said. He is out of Excellent Art, by Excellent Art, out of Free Radical. And as he said, Excellent Art has been firing, and we can see how. Number 2 is a Lord of the Sea, horse number 5, and trained by Pacey Shroff. And number 3, as per our record, is We Break the Rules, trained by Kuji Karchak. Of course, we will await the official confirmation of the result. To those that are, again, new to the sport, you know, the time between the race and the official confirmation, what are the nitty-gritties or the nuances that are examined to make sure that it's all
the
clear?
stewards are going to look if it was a fair start, first of all, if there was any interference through the race, if there was anything that they have a slight doubt about. So all these things are happening in the stewards' room, in the stipendary stewards' room. And then once they're happy with what they've seen, it's the white cone up and official results.
And there's the star, the Perfect Star, ridden by P.S. Chauhan beautifully.
He's ridden him well. He looks a very nice type of horse. You know, I think from here, just watching this race, we're going to see this horse running on the 26th of February, the Poonawalla Multimillion. He looks like a really nice horse. You can see his previous weight was 522 kilos, so he looks like a big horse.
What a brilliant race, what a brilliantly ridden race by P.S. Chauhan. Perfect Star has won the Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy Multimillion. And we're going to slip into a quick break here. We'll continue our discussion on the other side, so make sure you stay with us.
This February on Neo Sports and Neo Prime. Passion erupts. If it's love at first sight, or if you fall head over heels in love, you should know that love hurts. And if it's love on the rocks, you can always kiss and make up, because there ain't no love lost. All is fair in love and sports. This February, live and exclusive on Neo Prime and Neo Sports.
Welcome back. You're watching Neo Sports in the live telecast straight from the Mahalakshmi racecourse of the Kingfisher Ultra Derby Day. This is the first race, the Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy Multimillion, and here's a confirmation of the result. First is Perfect Star, ridden by P.S. Chauhan. Second, Lord of the Sea, ridden by P. Trevor. Third is We Break the Rules, full brother to Who Makes the Rules, ridden by Suraj Naredu. And fourth, Art of War, ridden by Bhavani Singh. A lot goes into putting together a weekend like that of the Indian Derby, and nobody knows that stress and that work better than the chairman of the RWITC, Mr. Vivek Jain. We got a chance to catch up with him. Let's have a listen.
I've got with me chairman of the RWITC, Vivek Jain. Vivek, well, the build-up, what a week it's been. We've laughed, we've cried, we've fought, we've had a drink together. It drains you, doesn't it?
I guess nobody knows better than us that the energy it takes to put together a mammoth weekend like the Indian Derby, it gives you great satisfaction when it's well done, but the trauma that one goes through it is a challenge in itself.
Let's talk about the race itself, the event itself. I mean, the music's going on in the background, and it really is a carnival. This is what horse racing should be about. This is what sport should be about.
Absolutely, and that's what the RWITC has done on virtually every weekend of the season. Nothing bigger than the Indian Derby. I always congratulate and applaud the effort of Dr. Vijay Mallya and his group of companies for putting it together. Without such magnanimous sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do it. Today would be yet another, the 75th running actually, of this mega race. All of Bombay looks forward to it. There's food, fashion, music, top horses. I don't think we can do much more than what we've done.
And, you know, this is Kingfisher Ultra's second year of association. Signature, of course, has been associated forever, but you're going to have to go back to the drawing board with them. There's a new contract that's going to be renewed. What are your thoughts regarding that?
Well, I'm more than confident that Kingfisher Ultra will be back. We've built up a very good relationship with the management. They had a very good exposure last year. I think they're quite happy with this. The first item on my agenda as chairman, soon after this, would be to have the renewal done as quickly, and it's a win-win for both the sponsor and for the club.
Vivek, thank you very much. Mandiraj, back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Mohit. So Vivek Jain, of course, the chairman of the RWITC, he has seen a lot of stress in the past week. I've been witness, to be fair, but it's been a fantastic weekend. Okay, let's have a quick look at the runners and riders for the next race. That's the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion. Now, 6 out of 13 over here are running for the first time. Number 1, Awesome Hooves, ridden by P. Trevor and trained by Shahzan Shah. Number 2, Benefactor, owned by Jaydev Modi, ridden by Suraj Naredu, trained by Malesh Naredu. Number 3, Camouflaged, ridden by C.S. Jodha and from Faisal A. Abbas's yard. Capriska, ridden by Y.S. Srinath and trained by Imtiaz Seth. Gallant Knight, in the silks of Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy, one of the most prolific owners of Indian racing, ridden by P.S. Chauhan and trained by Karthik Ganpati. Number 6, Gnostic Eyes, Dr. Yusuf Hamid, ridden by C. Alfred and trained by Kuji Karthik. Number 7, Hopelicious, trained by Nirat Karanjawala and ridden by S. Mohsin. Roosevelt in Mr. Dhanji Boy Silks, ridden by A. Sandesh and trained by Vishal Gaikwad. And carrying on, Utaka, ridden by N.S. Parmar and trained by S.K. Sundarji. Number 10, Lady Be Good in Dr. Poonawala Silks, from the Malesh Naredu stable, ridden by his son Yash. Number 11, Lady Sergeant, ridden by Imran Chisti, trained by S.S. Shah. Number 12, Lilybeth, trained by Narendra Lagat, ridden by Dashrath Singh. And finally, number 13, Wildfire, ridden by ridden by Bhavani Singh, and trained by Narendra Lagat. All right, so another baby race, and it's a maiden race that too. 6 of these 13 have never run a race before. You know, how important is pedigree then in judging?
Yeah, okay. Now we're coming down to a completely different type of race. You're coming to a 6-furlong race. So it's not going to be so surprising if you see a horse that's never run winning this race. It's 1,200 meters. All you need is a good, fast, precocious horse, and you can, and a good horse can still come and beat a horse that's already had a run. So it's very different from the mile. The mile is more demanding, whereas the 6-furlong, you just need a good, fast horse, and you can still win even if you have not had a run.
So talent here is most important, right?
The Phoenix Stars will come in big time over here.
All right, very, very interesting indeed. Let's go over to Mohit and Aslam and get their perspective, especially Aslam's. I'm curious to know what he says.
Aslam, we've seen one maiden race already. We've seen a 3-year-old crop. Now they're coming back to 1200 meters. For me, normally you find at this age, you get a better crop running 6 furlongs.
बिल्कुल सही है मोहित, आप कह रहे हैं अगर आप देखो कि 6 फर्लॉन्ग बिल्कुल बच्चों का बिल्कुल सही ट्रिप होता है, बिकॉज बच्चे जो होते हैं काफ़ी स्पीडी होते हैं. अभी हम लोग इसके पहले जो बात की है 7 और माइल की, थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है कि रन एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ज़रूरी है. तो 6 जो होता है बिल्कुल सही ट्रिप होता है. लेकिन ऐसा मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि सब बच्चों के लिए, कि जो क्योंकि कोई बच्चों में स्पीड नहीं है तो साथ भी जाते हैं. जैसे कि हम लोग जब हम बैठते थे तो हमारे ट्रेनर से डिस्कस करते थे कि बाबा ये 6 फर्लॉन्ग का घोड़ा नहीं है, हमें इसे थोड़ा ऊपर ले जाना क्योंकि स्पीड नहीं दिखा रहा है. तो यहाँ पर जो है काफ़ी घोड़े अच्छे भाग रहे हैं, बिल्कुल अच्छे ब्रीडिंग के भी भाग रहे हैं. और आप यहाँ देखो जैसे कि ये 2-3 घोड़े काफ़ी रन हो गए बच्चों के और जिसके रन नहीं. लेकिन अगर आप मुझे पूछो तो ये जो 2 नंबर है इसका काम मैंने अपनी आंखों स्टैंड से देखा था, वर्क वेरी वेल.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Aslam, let's just talk about 1 or 2 of the other horses, those that have worked well. Number 1, Awesome Hooves, Trevor on. Now he's drawn 12. First start of his life, drawn 12, 6 furlong in a million. It's not going to be easy anytime.
बिल्कुल सर, 6 फर्लॉन्ग में आपको ड्रॉ को मायने रखते हैं. जैसे हमने डार्बी के बारे में बात करे थे कि डार्बी में कोई भी ड्रॉ उसे कोई मायने नहीं रखता है, लेकिन 5 और 6 के अंदर बिल्कुल ड्रॉ का मायने रखता है. क्योंकि आपका पोजीशन पड़ा, क्योंकि आप स्लाइटली भी आप लगिश होकर निकले गेट से तो पोजीशन करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है और बच्चे को ज़्यादा फिर चेस करना पड़ता है.
Aslam talked about number 2, Benefactor, and I'll also go with Benefactor. There's no way I can go against Aslam's eye. The son of Arazan, Suraj Naredu rides him. He's perfectly drawn in 3. He gets some cover if he doesn't go to the front, and he's just in the right spot.
बिल्कुल जैसे कि ड्रॉ आया है और सब कुछ उसके फेवर में दिखता है.
Now you're going to get the best jockeys riding in this race, so that's always one indication to follow. Aslam, you've got Y.S. Srinath, Trevor, you've got Chauhan. Alfred is riding a filly called Gnostic Eyes. Now I saw this gelding when he was a baby at the Usha stud 2 years ago, and I actually have a very high opinion of this pedigree, Ave Maria.
बिल्कुल, लेकिन ये ब्रीडिंग जो है थोड़ा लंबे की कहती है, क्योंकि इसके पहले की भी जो बच्चे मैंने देखा हूँ वो जरा लंबा ही पसंद करते हैं, तो शायद अच्छा भाग सकती है.
You once said to me, a class horse, first time out 6 furlong, will win whether he needs a trip or not.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, लेकिन अभी मैं ये नहीं कहता हूँ वो बिल्कुल रेस में मतलब ये नहीं भागेगा. अच्छा हो सकता है, लेकिन जो मैंने देखा है काम, जो मैं देखते रहता हूँ, तो मुझे उसका काम अच्छा लगा, इसलिए मैं 2 नंबर की पसंद करूंगा.
Now one horse that's had a run, and always a run does make a difference, is Lady Sergeant from SS Shah's yard. SS Shah is one of the most respected trainers and men at the race course. It's always lovely to see him win.
जी बिल्कुल, बहुत पुराने ट्रेनर है, एक्सपीरियंस ट्रेनर है वो, काफ़ी उन्होंने इंडियन डार्बी वगैरह भी जीता है, तो हम किसी को भी अंडरस्टिमेट नहीं कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आफ्टर ऑल रेसिंग.
Alright, 1, 2 and outsider, Aslam.
मेरी पसंद है 2, सेकंड पसंद है 11.
Alright, so I'm going with number 2. I'm going with number 1 for my second choice, and my outsider is number 6, Gnostic Eyes. Back to you in the studio.
Good luck.
Thanks very much for that. Neil, do you agree with that? Are you also picking the same lot?
I agree with Aslam. There's another thing we've not pointed out here with number 2, Benefactor. If you look at Benefactor's mother, Lovely Kiss, it was trained in Bangalore by a trainer called Samar Singh. She won the Phillies Trial Stakes. She was a leftover horse no one wanted. Her mother was useless. She produced a champion in Lovely Kiss. Now, Lovely Kiss was a very early horse, came out of her first start and blew away the field.
Wow.
She showed she was a champion right from her first start. So, Benefactor, even without a run, no problem. Mother did it, he can do it.
I'm getting goosebumps. I tell you, it's always all down to the girls. Here are the horses in the paddock for the next race, which is the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion. We had a listen to what Mohit Lalwani and Aslam K had to say. And as Neil just pointed out, benefactors, one major factor in his favour is the fact that his dam, his mother, Lovely Kiss, was such a talented filly in her time.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing, you know, always the story of the underdog. Somehow, as much as you may romanticize it or whatever, it does come into play as far as Indian racing is concerned. And that's also the case with Sergeant at Arms to an extent. I mean, for the longest time, the horse did not have a stable. You know, he was a small, diminutive horse. No trainer was really taking him. And kind of a similar story as many champions have had.
Absolutely, you know. Champions can come out of anywhere, you know. Champions... The final part for a champion, you know, you could have the best preparation, you could be your respiratory or your cardiovascular system, everything could be in perfect order. But when it comes down to that last furlong, and you're tired and all this lactic acid's building up in you, it comes down to the mind. And all great champions just go past that barrier of pain, they go into a different zone, a different level, and that's what Sergeant at Arms has to do today. He has to break through that pain barrier. He has to break through that last furlong where they say he's not going to stay. And if he is a champion, he's going to show it today.
Here we have the horses in the paddock for the race that we're about to show you, which is the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion. As we said earlier, just 6 out of 13 of these horses will be running for the first time. But as Neil pointed out, here is where talent comes in, the pedigree comes in, and because of the distance that makes such a difference. And as Aslam pointed out, this is where the draw makes a difference too. It's a 6 furlong race. 6 furlongs means 1,200 meters. And the horses have a shorter distance. So this is where the draw really helps, especially a baby. Right, Neil?
Absolutely. Especially with a baby. If you even look at last race, David Allen was drawn out on the filly that he rode, Zanara. And you could see how a baby was struggling to settle. He was struggling to settle the horse. He was tending to lug out a bit. So with babies, the draw does come in, especially in a 6 furlong. You want to be inside, you want to be covered, and you want to jump well.
So your pick of the lot here is Benefactor. Well, that's Narendra Lagat giving instructions in the paddock. Now, just to explain the viewers who are not very familiar with racing, just before a race, as the horses are being paraded in the paddock, in the parade ring, before the jockeys get onto them, the trainers, the owners and the jockeys have a kind of a huddle, so to speak, where last-minute instructions are given. And I think, Neil, you can explain more about that than I can.
Well, it's very last minute. Usually everyone's prepared before the whole race. The instructions basically is to just remind the jockey what you want, just informing the owner as well that this is what we're going to be doing through the race. So everyone's very sure of what we're planning. Other than that, it's all ready and all set up.
So it's more symbolic, I think, than anything else. You know, yesterday in Mumbai, there was, at the Mahalakshmi race course, there was a concert by Lucky Ali. Beautiful concert by Lucky Ali. And I had a chance and the privilege of going backstage and being with all of them. And just before the concert, he got into a group hug. You know, like he kind of just, I was included in that hug for some reason, which was great. So all of us had this group hug, and it was almost meditative. You know, like he took 2 minutes, kind of took the energy or whatever, and then he went on to stage. So maybe in a similar fashion, you know, that huddle is important just before a race, just to kind of align strategy.
Sure. Just giving the jockey a little bit of confidence and knowing that everything's going to be okay.
And those are the jockeys that are already mounted on their horses. And again, for those that are unfamiliar with racing, jockeys have different clothes depending on the colors of their owners. So the owners decide what colors they'd like for their jockeys to wear. And those are called the racing colors. And therefore, we have these combinations, which is the strangest combination you've ever seen.
Gosh, I've seen some crazy ones, but let's not talk about that right now.
Well, that's horse number 11. Lady Sergeant. What are your thoughts on horse number 11? Phoenix Star, as you said, will do well here.
Again, a horse with a good chance, a Phoenix Tower. Very, very precocious, very good early horses, easy to train. So you've drawn a little bit on the outside, but again, benefit of a race. So this is going to play a major role here. If this horse is improved from her last start, she's going to be right there at the finish with Benefactor.
Well, that's the other thing, right? Some of the better horses are in with the benefit of the run.
Absolutely. Benefit of the run makes a big difference. So let's hope Lady Sergeant is showing some improvement today, and if she does, we're going to see a big performance.
And that's horse number 1, Awesome Hooves. I think, as Mohit pointed out, drawn 12, first time ever. It's going to be a struggle.
A little difficult with a 12 draw, unless this is an absolute champion. A little difficult.
All right, what about Roosevelt? Horse number 8.
Horse number 8. This is a horse, okay, this is a team that's doing extremely well at the moment. So you can't write them off. Vishal Gaikwad just won a derby last week, apparently doing quite well. And it's a got abroad, so I'm not very sure about the breeding, but it's definitely owned by a team that's firing at the moment.
That it sure is. I mean, they've got so many. I mean, speaking of the same team, there is, okay, Roosevelt by in Mr. Dhanji Boy's colours. We've spoken about Lady Sergeant, we've spoken about Roosevelt. Let's also talk about Camouflage. These are the 3 horses that have had, the benefit of a run.
Yeah, Camouflage has run 4th in his last start. He's run a little bit further back, so difficult unless it's showing some big improvement. I don't think he's going to trouble the best here.
Right, so the horses are getting ready for the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion. Now, this is a maiden race, is basically a race that's where all the participants, or all the contenders, all the runners are yet to have a win, are yet to win a race. As far as maiden races are concerned, there are sometimes we see horses that are much older or that have had quite a few chances at winning, but they're still to win. Psychologically, how does it make a difference to a horse? Like as far as human athletes are concerned, psychology is a big part. You feel beaten in the mind, and that kind of manifests itself in real life. How does it work with a horse?
Very similar. Believe it or not, I've seen horses actually knowing when they've won and they know when they've lost. The thing with training a racehorse is keeping the mind and the horse happy. You've got to give the horse confidence, a lot of love with your training methods. So keeping the horse's mind happy and relaxed will make a big difference.
All right, let's have a quick look at the runners and riders once again, just to quickly recap the runners for this race. Horse number 1, Awesome Hooves, ridden by P. Trevor, drawn 12. Horse number 2, Benefactor, the favourite for Neil Darashah, the favourite for Mohit Lalwani, the favourite for Aslam K, ridden by Suraj Naredu, trained by Malesh Naredu, drawn 3. Horse number 3, Camouflaged, ridden by C.S. Jodha, drawn 2. Horse number 4, Capriska, ridden by Y.S. Srinath, drawn 10. Gallant Knight in Dr. Ramaswamy Silks, trained by Karthik Ganpati, ridden by P.S. Chauhan. I wonder if they'll get a double. Horse number 6, Gnostic Eyes, ridden by C. Alford, trained by Kuji Katrak. Number 7, Hopalicious, trained by Niradkar Ranjawala. Number 8, Roosevelt, owned by Mr. Dhanji Boy, trained by Vishal Gaikwad and ridden by A. Sandesh. Now, this is a winning team, as Neil just pointed out. Horse number 9, Yutaka, trained by S.K. Sundarji, ridden by N.S. Parmar. Lady Be Good in the Poonawala colours, in Dr. Cyrus Poonawala's colours more specifically, ridden by Yash Naredu and trained by his father Malesh Naredu, also one of India's leading former jockeys. Horse number 11, Lady Sergeant, ridden by Imran Chisti and trained by S.S. Shah. Horse number 12, Lily Beth, trained by Narendra Lagad and ridden by Dashrath Singh. And horse number 13, Narendra Lagad, is the one who's trained him, and Bhavani Singh rides him. The horses are on their way to the starting gates. That's horse number 7 and horse number 12. As we explained earlier, this is the part which is really important here. In the last race, Pure Zinc got withdrawn because it played up at the gates, right? And that is always a challenge. And at what stage do the horses genuinely get comfortable with the starting gates?
See, you can never say what's going to happen with a racehorse. You could have a relaxed horse that just plays up of the day, something bothering him or her. There's never something set in stone with racehorses. You could go home at night from your yard and get a call saying something's wrong, or your horse is lame the next morning for no apparent reason. So
been there.
Yeah. So you never know. So yeah, that's what it's all about. That's the game.
Well, the horses are being loaded into the starting gates, and as we explained to you, The numbers on top of those gates are the draw. That's where each horse is designated one number and they jump out of that gate. And the humongous crowds at the Mahalakshmi racecourse just makes me so happy to see that. And let's go across to Mahendra Malia. He is the one calling this race, or is it Suhail, I think, calling this race. Let's go over to the commentator for the call.
Away from the main event, crowds in both the enclosures packed to the capacity, the lawns packed to the capacity, with crowds thronging from all over Mumbai to witness the grand attraction, the running of the Platinum Jubilee edition of the Indian Derby. Loading operations have just commenced. Hope Elicious is the first one to get in. The horses are now being stalled. Lilibeth has moved in. Hope Elicious backs out. Camouflaged is the next one to step in. Wildfire is being tried out. Meanwhile, Roosevelt has moved in. Gnostic Eyes has been stalled. Capriska, meanwhile, has moved in. Wildfire is in front of the gates with blindfolds on without the rider. Will be backed in. Utaka has moved in. Awesome Hooves has been stalled. Gallant Knight is being walked up. Hope Elicious stalled. Gallant Knight has moved in. Lady Be Good being tried out. Lady Be Good has been loaded. Wildfire, standing in front of the gate without the rider, will be backed in. Wildfire and Benefactor are the two horses yet to be loaded. Wildfire is being tried out. Wildfire has been backed in, rider back in the saddle. Last runner into the stalls will be Benefactor. Utaka rears up. Benefactor has been stalled. They're all in. Starters orders and away they go for the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion. Utaka misses about 4-5 lengths at the start. Benefactor getting down straight to the business from Wildfire. Then there's Lady Sergeant in the center. Roosevelt, Lilibeth on the inside rails. Then there is Awesome Moves upon the outside. Capriska comes in next. Then there is Lady Be Good on the inside. Is Camouflage. They go towards the 800-meter marker. Then Gnostic Eyes comes in next. On the outside is Utaka. Then there is on the wide outside there is the Gallant Knight. And in the rear is Hope Elicious. They're negotiating the curve now at the 600. And it's Wildfire, the leader from Benefactor. Utaka on the outside. Then there is On the inside rails is Roosevelt, Lady Sergeant, Lady Be Good, Lilibeth, Camouflage, then the others going inside the last 400 meters there. Benefactor has gone ahead now with Awesome Hooves coming up on the outside. Then there is Wildfire going inside the last 200 meters there. It is Awesome Hooves and Benefactor fighting it out in the last 100 meters. Then there's Wildfire and Lady Sergeant, but Awesome Hooves gets the measure of Benefactor in the last 100 meters. Awesome Hooves is the winner. Then there is Benefactor in second. Roosevelt comes in next. Sergeant, Lady Sergeant. Then there is Gallant Knight followed by Capriska, Lilibeth, Lady Be Good, Camouflage, Hopelicious, Wildfire, Gnostic Eyes and Utaka as they go past the post.
What a fantastic race, and I love the unpredictability that comes with these baby races. Awesome Hooves. You know, just before the race started, Mohit and Aslam had practically written Awesome Hooves off, but Phoenix Tower.
That's what it's all about. The baby races, the fast races, the early races will go to the precocious horses, the precocious stallion, Phoenix Tower, Excellent Art, the ones that are firing. You can't leave them out. Tremendous effort from a 12 draw first run of his life, owned by a Bangalore owner, and I'm impressed. Good timing, 110.4, impressive.
How much of a role does strategy play in this kind of a race?
Well, you're coming to your first start, right? So you're drawn 12. What would the trainer have said? Just jump as well as possible, try and get some cover, and wait till you turn for home. I'm sure the trainer was pretty confident to put Trevor up. You know, he must have thought quite highly of the horse, and Trevor to ride the horse must have worked him and thought he had a chance.
Obviously, the trust wasn't misplaced. Awesome Hooves has come out and done a phenomenal job. Awesome Hooves is owned by S.T. Shiv Prasad, ridden on this occasion by P. Trevor, and trained by Shahzan Shah. Foaled at Manjari, and as Neil just explained, he's by Phoenix Tower out of Dance to the Tune. A stallion thought very, very highly of at this point.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the good stallions in the country, one of the top stallions here, and definitely going to produce the results.
And that is Awesome Hooves. He's done his job for the day. Thrilled it seems, and of course there's a beautiful and a huge crowd at the Mahalakshmi racecourse to actually applaud all the champions today. Really feel so happy for this sport. We're going to slip into a quick break here on Winning Post Live. We'll be back with all the action, all the racing, all the tamasha, so make sure you stay with us.
The PGA Tour takes over the Monterey Peninsula for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Navigating their way over 3 courses at Pebble Beach are amateurs and pros alike, all looking to go low at the penultimate event in California.
Neo Sports brings you the most prestigious corporate golfing event of India, the Vodafone T-Walk 2017. The journey begins at Ambi Valley Golf Course, a few hours from Mumbai, where India's leading businessmen square off in the first leg of the 8th edition.
I think Vodafone T-Walk is the best among all the corporate tournaments I play because it's very well organized.
When you put 4 people together who don't know each other at all, that's the greatest thing about participating in this particular T-Walk.
Vodafone T-Walk 2017, exclusively on Neo Sports.
This February on Neo Sports and Neo Prime. Passion erupts. If it's love at first sight, or if you fall head over heels in love, you should know that love hurts. And if it's love on the rocks, you can always kiss and make up, because there ain't no love lost. All is fair in love and sports. This February, live and exclusive on Neo Prime and Neo Sports.
Slow in the strides there is King.
Desert God from Melton Wood. Desert God has won the Indian Derby.
75 years of the Indian Derby. That is absolutely huge. So the first race was run way back in 1942. The UB group came in 1984, and now we're in 2017. And last year, Kingfisher Ultra joined hands with Signature to make this bigger than ever. And this year, it's more than a race. We'll talk about what that really means, but the importance of a sponsor like Kingfisher Ultra is not lost upon a sport like racing. This was the post-position draw ceremony just before the races, just before the Derby. And this basically gives the owners a chance to come and pick a draw. More than a race, that is the slogan for this year, because Kingfisher Ultra genuinely believes that the Derby is more than a race. There's more, there's fashion, there's food, there's excitement, there's style. And each of the connections of the Derby got a chance to come up on stage and pick a draw for their horse for the main race. And Kingfisher Ultra, like I said, did join hands with Signature. And the UB group has been responsible for taking the Indian Derby to the iconic heights it is at today. Neil, you've been a part of this journey. You're from a racing family. You've seen it. The importance of having a backing as strong as that for a sport like racing.
Unbelievable to have a big backing, a backing that everyone in India knows. Everyone knows the sponsor. It's such a privilege to be part of something so big. And if you can come out and win something on a day like this and be part of it, it just makes a huge difference to any professional. Absolutely right. For the longest time, it was McDowell, then it was Signature, and the latest sponsor on board for the Indian Derby is Kingfisher Ultra. Mohit is standing by with Prashant Patwardhan. Let's have a listen to what he has to say.
So Mandir, I've got with me Prashant Patwardhan, who heads the Kingfisher Ultra brand. And, well, he's responsible for this event. He's responsible for this sponsorship. He's responsible for the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby. Prashant, thanks for talking to me. Wonderful event.
Yes, indeed it is, Mohit, because the way we see this event is like it helps us to bring the Kingfisher Ultra experience to the Derby. At the same time, it helps Derby and the racecourse to take the races beyond the boundaries of the racecourse. Because we activate with the brand all across the channels. We have ensured that the crowd from all parts, the Ultra crowd, comes and has a Derby experience. So it is fantastic. It works both ways for us.
Now, you did something very special this year. You made a film called Half Ticket. Tell us about that, and feel free to share the URL so that people can watch it on YouTube as well.
Sure. The notion is, the widely held belief is Derby is very exclusive. It is a game, sports of rich and the moneyed, and Derby is all about the horse race. And this time what we have done is built up a property around the Derby, and that is why we call it more than a race, because the experience is not limited just to racing. And that is what we wanted to tell to the people. The Derby is more than a race. It is like a breeding ground for unforgettable experiences. And that is what we have showcased in the movie, that a lot can happen over Derby and a lot can happen with Ultra.
And where can they watch this?
They can watch this on Facebook if you can search through Ultra Shots. The movie is called Ultra Shots, and also on the YouTube. All you have to key in is Ultra Shots with over 6 million views now.
Now, Prashant, Kingfisher Ultra has adopted horse racing. You've taken a big stand in horse racing. It isn't always that racing gets a benefactor such as yours. Let's speak about the logic behind it and the future.
See, like majority, as we all know, like majority of the sponsors, they go after cricket, and some like after hockey and football. What we are doing is like taking up exclusive sports like derby or motorboat racing and considering changing them or converting them into inclusive sports. Otherwise, the people what you see around here would not have come to watch a derby because it is something which is exclusive, sophisticated, you have to dress in a particular way. So we have demystified a derby. Now if you see, look around, it is far more relaxed environment as compared to the previous years. So I think more and more sponsors can come over because this is a fantastic property, this kind of experience. It is not like just limited to the sports, it is all about experience, which is unlike any other sports in the country what we do today.
Now, you talked about more than a race. Lucky Ali last night, a great concert. We've got international artists like the Cuban Brothers coming from the UK, and there's just so much happening, isn't there?
It is. That is why, like, it is not just a fake promise or empty headline that it is more than a race. We have ensured that whatever we have committed to the people, we deliver that, and people are enjoying it. Cuban Brothers, like, they perform at Glastonbury Music Festival, which is one of the most coveted. They perform at the Hyde Park, and they are here. So Lucky Ali performed. He has got a background with the racing, so he was more than happy to come over. So yeah, you see it is a carnival atmosphere. It is not like just a sport. So you are not in a sporting arena, you are in a carnival arena today.
Prashant, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you. Pleasure. Back to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. You know, I've interacted a lot with Prashant, and I have to say his ideas are really, really innovative. For example, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this year for the Derby, they have the half ticket. And this is a campaign run on social media primarily on digital media. And what it shows is two different people who have half ticket each, you know, how they kind of get together. So similarly, through various activations in Mumbai, a lot of people have got half tickets. So their challenge, and it's all kind of, they're helped along and they're, you know, nudged along to find their other half ticket, but they have to find their half ticket partner, complete strangers, akin to a blind date, but complete strangers who then go to the half ticket lounge. And once you go to the Ultra half ticket lounge, there you have to play a series of games, you know, blindfolded games and just simple games, and then you're given full lounge access, etc. So basically just opening the Derby, opening a sport like horse racing to newer audiences, you know, making that experience, engaging newer fans. And I think that is what is really needed as far as the sport is concerned, that innovation, that thinking out of the box and just reaching out, you know, to the newer generation, the millennials, as they're called. Back to the traditional way of horse racing, though, we have a confirmation of the result from the last race. Let's have a quick look at that. Horse number 1, Awesome Hooves, is the winner of the BK Ratansi Memorial Maiden Multimillion over 6 furlongs, ridden by Pete Trevor, trained by Shahzan Shah. Horse number 2 also finished second, that is Benefactor, owned by Jaydev Modi and Zawade Poonawala, ridden by Suraj Naredu and trained by Suraj's uncle Malesh Naredu. The horse that finished third was Roosevelt in Mr. Dhanji Boy Silks, trained by Vishal Gaikwad and ridden by A. Sandesh. And Lady Sergeant finished fourth, also a Phoenix Star, and bred at the Manjari Stud, trained by S.S. Shah and ridden by Imran Chisti. And Mohit is standing by with the connections of the winning horse. Let's go across.
Trevor, good result. He plugged on really nicely, didn't he?
Yeah, this was his first run. I didn't expected him to take such a good jump. He was very quick out of the gates, and he was sitting in beautifully 4th, 5th position. In the straight, he came very beautifully, you know. I had to just click at him, and he did it.
Good. Let's get your quick impressions on the Derby.
I think so. Between two horses, then it's open.
Which are the two?
Sergeant and Hall of Fame.
Good luck. Tell me about this horse.
I always believed he had very good ability. I just had a question mark with his first time, and that was left to see, and he just proved that he has good class in him. So I hope to have a good future with this horse.
And his next target?
He's entered in the Poonawala, so hopefully.
You know,
I'm ecstatic, elated, jubilant. We will be there on 27th of February for that trophy.
Good luck. Good luck, guys. And so,
ecstatic connections. Obviously, Christmas came early for them. We're going to slip into a quick break here on Winning Post Ultra, but I'm going to leave you with some lovely visuals from Saturday evening where Lucky Ali was performing live at the Mahalakshmi Racecourse, all towards the build-up of the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby partnered by Signature.
Where does this kind of good go from here? After an entire season of ups and downs, the preparation, the persistence, the pain. When he finally makes good on a dream and etches his name on the biggest prize in golf, where could good possibly go from here? How about back to work? These guys are good.
Neo Sports brings you the most prestigious corporate golfing event of India, the Vodafone T-Walk 2017. The journey begins at Ambi Valley Golf Course, a few hours from Mumbai, where India's leading businessmen square up in the first leg of the 8th edition.
I think Vodafone T-Walk is the best among all the corporate tournaments I play because it's very well organized.
When you put four people together who don't know each other at all, that's the greatest thing about participating in this particular T-Walk.
Vodafone T-Walk 2017, exclusively on Neo Sports.
Welcome back. Those are some glimpses from the Kingfisher Ultravaganza over the Indian Derby weekend. Of course, sponsored by Kingfisher Ultra in partnership with Signature. And it's all about horsepower, speed, fashion, style, excitement, tamasha, lights, you name it. Glitz, glamour, all that is associated. And of course, some stars as well. Now, horse racing is a sport that was very, very popular with the stars back in the day, and I think they're starting to make their way back again. We're going to be joined here by Neil Dara Shah in the studio, but before we have any discussion on the Derby runners, because it's very little time to go before we have the 75th running of the Indian Derby, let's have a quick look at the contenders for this race.
The Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature, will be run at 5:10 on Sunday, the 5th of February. The favourite will be a colt called Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms is one of the 3 Bangalore challengers that include Salazar and Hall of Famer. Sergeant at Arms has been beaten just once, having won the Indian 2000 Guineas, the Ruya, the Bangalore Summer Derby, the Bangalore Colts Trial Stakes and the Mysore 2000 Guineas.
It's Sergeant at Arms going quite easily, scoring a very impressive victory.
I won 7 derbies, but not in Indian Derby. And every jockey's dream to win an Indian Derby, like me only. And this year, hope so, I will win this race because I have a good horse to ride, like a Sergeant at Arms.
His greatest threat will probably come from Hall of Famer, who was devastating when she won the Calcutta Winter Derby. Salazar strengthens the Bangalore card with a victory in the Bangalore Winter Derby.
I'm riding Salazar in the Derby, and he's quite well. He's won comfortably in the Chennai Derby, though the field was not that strong. But he's improved after that and he's working well.
Their greatest threats will come from the Pacey Shroff yard. Mrs. Patmore lured the colours of Hall of Famer in the Indian 1000 Guineas, and though there's a question mark over her ability to stay a mile and a half, she has beaten Hall of Famer.
Mrs. Patmore from Hall of Famer. Mrs. Patmore gets it from Hall of Famer.
As you know, she won the Guineas, she ran second in the Oaks. I think she's a very talented filly and she'll run a good race. She's been working very well.
Temerity has won the Indian Oaks and Matthias seems to be a late blooming stayer.
Temerity didn't run a good race in the Guineas. She had a mishap in the gates. She's a lot better now. She came out and won the Oaks for us, so she stayed well. And I think she'll run a good race. Her preparation's fine.
Pacey Shroff's neighbour, Vishal Gaikwad, will field Germanicus, who just a week ago won the Hyderabad Winter Derby.
He's running the Indian Derby. He's ran a great race in Hyderabad. He's travelled well. He stays. So he should run a decent race. I expect him to run a decent race.
The late Dr. Ramaswamy yard will feature Bold March and Supreme General.
Well, Bold March has been quite disappointing in Bangalore. He's back home here to his home track Mahalakshmi, and he's never run a bad race here. I hope he pulls his socks up and runs a great race. Well, Supreme General is a Gota Broad who's late maturing, and every day he's getting better.
The stragglers in this field include Silver Beauty from Malesh Naidu's yard, Vulcan from Adhiraj Singh Jodha's yard, Lucas from Nazi Chinoy's, Highland Breeze from Rehanullah Khan's.
I have Silver Beauty running in the Indian Derby. She has really done well in the Calcutta track. She's won the 1000 Guineas and the Oaks of Calcutta. She came and ran a very impressive third in the Indian Oaks, and I'm hoping that she runs a good race in the Indian Derby. It will depend on the luck of the race and hope it favours me.
And Winter Renaissance from Imtiaz Said. The fact is, they all have plenty to make up on the top 3 or 4 contenders.
She won a maiden race in a Class 4 on the 6th of January. I pitched her in the Indian Oaks, where she did perform well. She finished 4th, 5 lengths behind the winner. As she was entered in the Derby, I've decided to take a chance. So she runs the Derby with the same rider and hoping she runs well.
All right, Neil and I will take you through the runners and riders. Number 1, Bold March, trained by Kartik Ganpati and ridden by Dashrath Singh.
Okay, Bold March, interesting horse, not lived up to the expectations, and even I thought he was a much better horse than he's shown us. Difficult over here, running a very poor race in Bangalore. Difficult to travel here and run anything close to Sergeant and the rest.
Horse number 2, Germanicus, ridden by Imran Chisti and trained by Vishal Gaikwad.
Okay, Germanicus, talented horse. He ran second in the Pune Derby, won the Hyderabad 2000 Guineas as well as the Derby. The only race he didn't run a great race in was the Indian 2000 Guineas, which was very close from the Hyderabad 2000 to the Indian 2000, and then that was his only poor run. So again, running within a week may not suit him.
Number 3, Highland Breeze, ridden by N.S. Parmar and trained by Rehanullah Khan.
Difficult, Mandira. Probably will sort of set the pace in front. I can't see anything happening with this horse.
Number 4, Lucas, trained by Nazi Chenoy and ridden by Colm O'Donoghue.
Okay, Colm O'Donoghue's come down to ride Lucas. Interesting horse, starting to improve a little late in his career, considering that he's a Phoenix star. The only thing is that the mile and a half, will he get the mile and a half? And if he does, and he does win, Nazi will be the first lady to win an Indian Derby.
I hope he does just for that, but my support lies with Sergeant at Arms, and we'll discuss that in just a bit. Horse number 5 is Matthias, also ridden by Y.S. Srinath and trained by Pacey Schroff. Number 6, Salazar, ridden by P. Trevor in Dr. Malia Silks.
Okay, Salazar, interesting horse, again a late bloomer. I was there in Chennai. He won the Derby well. It was a weak field, but still won well. Could be a horse that appears on the frame today.
Number 7, Sergeant at Arms. Here's the one to look out for. He's done nothing wrong except losing in that Mysore Derby, but this is the one. And the question here is on his stamina. But I, for one, am definitely rooting for him.
Sergeant at Arms, the horse to beat, according to me. The only race he lost was in Mysore. And if you remember the Bangalore Summer Derby, all we talked about was Sergeant at Arms and his temperament. He was a cool, relaxed horse. In Mysore, that was not the case. The only time he was a bit fractious, not very comfortable with his surroundings, and I think my friend Suleiman might have had him underdone. He was too overconfident, might be slightly underdone, and that sort of people thought that he may not stay. Horse to beat, no doubt about it.
No doubt about that. Horse number 8, Supreme General. Now behind Sergeant at Arms in the Bangalore Derby. Traffic there. 4th in the 2000 Guineas. Do you think he's a dark horse here?
I don't think so, Mandira. I don't think he'll stay the trip. Simple as that.
All right, that's as far as Supreme General goes. Then horse number 9 is Vulcan, ridden by J. Chenoy. Horse number 10, Hall of Famer. Here's the horse that a lot have been spoken about.
Hall of Famer. What has to be said about Mr. Padmanabhan? Big trainer, big day. I've always said it. He turns up.
He turns up and he does.
2 greys in the race, 1 always wins.
That's right. That's right. That's the old adage, as they say. Well, then, horse number 11, Mrs. Patmore. Also want to look out for, of course, I love her name. Horse number 12, Silver Beauty, ridden by Suraj Naredu, trained by Malesh. Horse number 13, winner of the Indian Oaks Temerity, ridden by Neeraj Raval. Horse number 14, Winter Renaissance, ridden by C.S. Jodha, trained by Imtiaz Seth. Right, now let's have your thoughts really quickly, Neil.
Okay. Sergeant at Arms, Hall of Famer, and Temerity. I think these are the horses that are going to make up the finish of the race. If there's anything that comes out of other than these 3, it probably will be the likes of Salazar, Lucas, and Matthias.
What about Germanicus?
I still feel he's running within a week. The only poor race he ran was in the Indian 2000 Guineas when he had a quick run from Hyderabad to Bombay again. So within a week, traveling difficult.
Okay, let's have a listen to what Mohit and Aslam have to say. They're standing by with their analysis.
Yes, it is D time. The Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, the Grade 1 race over a mile and a half, and the horses have left the paddock to go to the starting gate. There's a bit of a breeze blowing across, so even those who got a bit warm, once they get out to the track, will get a chance to cool down, Aslam. But let's take a look at each one of them individually. Number 1, Bold March. Promising juvenile last year, but he's been found wanting against horses like Sergeant at Arms.
मोहित मेरे ख्याल से घोड़े ने फॉर्म छोड़ दिया है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कोई चांस बनता है इसका इस रेस में.
Let's go to number 2, Germanicus. Just 7 days ago, Aslam, he won the Hyderabad Winter Derby. It is a very short space of time to come back and win, but we know he stays a mile and a half.
बिल्कुल सही, वहाँ पे बहुत कंफर्टेबल जीता है. लेकिन अगर आप एक चीज देखो, संदेश वो छोड़ के ये छोड़ के वो बैठ रहा है, तो शायद उसे ज्यादा बेटर समझता है कि वो समझता है उसको ज्यादा चांस है. लेकिन हम लोग इसको अंडरस्टिमेट नहीं कर सकते इस घोड़े को.
I think that's one of the important things to realize in a race like this, that the class horse so far has been Sergeant at Arms. Of course, they're going to try and test him for stamina, but he is the class horse here. Aslam, number 3, Highland Breeze, and Sergeant at Arms had his measure easily in the Ruya. Can he reverse that?
मुझे नहीं लगता है, ये कोई चांस नहीं समझता उसके सामने Sergeant at Arms.
Okay, Lucas was second in the same race.
बड़ी रेस में तो कुछ चांस लेना पड़ता है, तो शायद बड़े ओनर है तो भगा रहे हैं कि शायद हमारा लग अब इसमें कुछ कह नहीं सकते, तो शायद इसलिए भाग रहा है और अच्छा जॉकी को बुलाया है वो लोगों ने.
Now, number 5 is Matthias. He's a son of a Derby winning sire. His dam Yana won the Oaks before being disqualified. Matthias has won his last 2 starts. The last one came in just, I think, in the middle of class 2. But does he have the class?
मुझे नहीं लगता. लास्ट टाइम में जीता है लेकिन उसके पीछे कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है, अभी वो लोग ओवरवेट, काफी ओवरवेट लेके बैठा था श्रीनाथ, लेकिन मुझे नहीं लगता इसके अंदर. हाँ, स्ट्रिंग एबिलिटी काफी है इसमें, लेकिन ये आज मुझे नहीं लगता क्लास बनता है इधर.
It's one thing, you need to stay, but you need to have the class to win the Indian Derby, because it's not only about stamina. Aslam Salazar, the form is hard to pick because he won the Chennai Derby. Chennai is, of course, starting to do very well. Stake money is very high. Is he good enough?
देखिए, चेन्नई डार्बी जैसे कि मैं भी वहाँ जीत के आया और यहाँ फिर आके इंडियन डार्बी जीता हूँ. मेरे साथ में जो घोड़े भागे थे, 3 घोड़े की रेस थी, लेकिन बहुत इजी जीता था. इसके
डार्क हॉर्स पर आप?
मुझे नहीं लगता.
Okay, let's move straight. Now this is the one we want to talk about. Aslam, Sergeant at Arms, beaten only once in his life, but that was over 1.25 miles. It looked like the strategy worked beautifully to test him for stamina, and that's the only time in his life he's got beaten. He's the kind of horse, according to me, Aslam, he quickens 3 lengths and then gets on at that same pace. How important will it be for Sandesh to ride him correctly?
देखिए, पता नहीं इसका इंस्ट्रक्शन क्या होगा, किधर बैठेगा, पता नहीं जॉकी कितना वाइंड अप हुआ है. ज्यादा करेगा इस रेस के लिए बिल्कुल ठंडे दिमाग से सवार करने की जरूरत है. रही इस घोड़े ने अभी तक कुछ रॉन्ग नहीं किया है. एक बार मार खाया है मैसूर में. मुझे जो ऐसा लगता है कि शायद संदेश थोड़ा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट हो गया उस दिन, लेकिन आज बहुत अच्छा है घोड़ा और छोटा घोड़ा है, बेस्ट ऑन फुट है. अभी तक जो मैंने देखा हूँ, जो 4-year-old के अंदर इसका बेस्ट ऑन फुट है.
Aslam, you know, you've ridden many horses, but there's a big difference between winning over 1.25 miles and 1.5 miles, especially in the Indian Derby. There's a big difference.
बिल्कुल बहुत ही डिफरेंट है. देखो, ये रेस के लिए आपको, जैसे कि मैंने आपको ट्रैक चेक कर रहे थे, बताया उसके बारे में, आपको बिल्कुल ठंडे दिमाग से सवारी करनी है. कहाँ बैठना है, कैसे करना है. कोई भी ड्रॉप होता है 5 के पास, 4 से ड्रॉप होता है, ऐसा ना हो वो आपको ले जाए पीछे, क्योंकि बाजू वाला कोई आपको जगह नहीं देगा. यहाँ पर आपको जगह बनाना पड़ता है, तो उस जगह बनाने के लिए पहले से होशियार रहना पड़ता है यहाँ पर. और बिल्कुल ठंडे दिमाग से, और टाइमिंग जो है, आप पिकअप करोगे 2 से पिकअप करो, 3 से पिकअप करो, 1.5 से. टाइमिंग आपकी परफेक्ट होनी चाहिए, वरना पीछे से आके आई एम सॉरी.
You talked about being hoshiyar. For me, more than the jockey, I think this is a horse who's very intelligent. He's very, very hoshiyar. Aslam, let's talk about what could possibly be a dark horse here. Supreme General, a good 4th in the 2000 Guineas. Question mark on his stamina. He was unlucky in the Bangalore Derby. Is he Dr. Ramaswamy stable's best chance?
देखिए, अगर सेटल हुआ तो बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन मुझे नहीं लगता है सेटल होता है. काफी कीन होता है रेस में. अगर सेटल हुआ तो बहुत अच्छा भागेगा, नहीं तो सवार को काफी ब्रेक करना, तोड़ना पड़ता है उसको बैठने के लिए.
Vulcan, he clipped Accolade in the Pune Derby and fell down. This is his return to big racing again, but he hasn't gone on to show that he's the classic type yet.
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता कोई क्लासिक टाइप का घोड़ा है. अगर शायद वो पुणे में स्टम्बल होके, क्लिप होके अगर जॉकी नहीं गिरता तो शायद सेकंड भागता था उस दिन, लेकिन उसके बाद में यहाँ पर 1.5 माइल जीता है, तो कुछ दिखाया नहीं है इसने.
Hall of Famer Padmanabhan won this race last year. He knows how to win big races. He took this filly to Calcutta, won the Calcutta Winter Derby extremely impressively. A lot of people are believing this is the horse to beat.
ये बिल्कुल, मुझे तो लगता है ये दोनों घोड़े मेरे से और बहुत क्लोज रेस है, क्योंकि ये जो हिसाब से जीती है उसके बाद में सिल्वर बीटी सेकंड बाकी है. ये घोड़ी यहाँ के बहुत अच्छा भागी है, ऑलरेडी इसके टिमिलिटी के ऊपर चढ़ गई है. आप देखोगे तो बिल्कुल उसके बाजू में है, तो इन दोनों में जो है बहुत क्लोज है. अब बहुत जन कहते हैं कि घोड़ा स्टे नहीं करेगा, लेकिन मेरा मानना है कि स्टे तो करना चाहिए कि उसकी ब्रीडिंग बोलती है.
And we've been watching Hall of Famer. She's looking perfect for the day.
जी हाँ, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
Right. Mrs. Patmore. Mrs. Patmore beat Hall of Famer in the 1000 guineas and then ran second to Temerity. She took over the running a bit early, I thought, in the Oaks. Can she upset them?
देखो उस वक्त पता नहीं उसको क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन था ड्राइवर को, तो बहुत ऊपर बैठा था, तो मुझे भी समझ में नहीं आया, लेकिन शायद इंस्ट्रक्शन था या जॉकी खुद कमिट किया था, या इतना ऊपर उसको बैठने की जरूरत नहीं. हाँ, हो सकता है ये थोड़ा ड्रॉप बैक करके बैठे तो चांस में भाग सकती है.
The horses are being loaded into the starting gates. It says the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature, the 75th running of the Indian Derby, the biggest racing spectacle in all of India, the most important race in the career of an Indian racehorse. You only get one chance at it, and that is it. Let's go over to the commentator, Deepak Rajpal, who's calling his 22nd Indian Derby.
Now Sergeant at Arms walking in. And he's walked in quietly. We got two more to go. One is Riderless Bold March and another one is Temerity.
Your attention please. In this race, horse number 5, Matthias, has been withdrawn. I repeat, number 5, Matthias, has been withdrawn.
So that was the official announcement that in this race, horse number 5, Matthias, has been withdrawn. In the meanwhile, the riderless Bold March has moved in. Last one into the gate is going to be Temerity. Temerity gets in, they're all on. Starter Shubakshing has got his finger on the button, gates open and away they go. You can hear the crowd roar. Quite a fair start this is by all the one as being a little lethargic at the start is the Supreme General, and the field settles down to rest. There's a rush for the lead with Lucas and Colm O'Donoghue in the claret and gold is the leader from Silver Beauty in second spot. Hall of Famer now the Calcutta Derby winner going ahead up on the outside as a past the Hornby Villard corner. Silver Beauty has moved into second. Winter Renaissance in the red and white settled back in third as a past the 2000 and quite a moderate pace. Another length and a half behind there is Vulcan. Another length and a 3/4 away is Sergeant Tatams. Up on the outside is the Temerity, the winner of the Indian Oaks in the dark blue jacket as a past the 1800. Salazar and Trevor, the winner of the South India Derby, making a quick forward move. Another 2.5 length behind is Highland Breeze. After that is Mrs. Patmore, the winner of the Indian 1000 guineas, making headway. 2 away is Bold March. Second last, the Supreme General. Last of all is the Germanicus, the winner of the Hyderabad Derby. As they run past the 1400 meter marker in this richest race of the country. Hall of Famer is the leader, 3 lengths ahead of Silver Beauty, the Calcutta Oaks winner. Salazar and Trevor made a forward move. Is the son of Burden of Proof. In fourth there is Winter Renaissance. Length and a half to 2 lengths behind as they pass the 1200 meter marker is Vulcan. After that is Sergeant Tatam, the son of Ikhtiar, is the winner of the Bangalore Derby, is making a forward move as they pass the 1000 meter marker. Length and a half away, Bold March. After that is Mrs. Patmore, Highland Breeze, third last. Second last is Supreme General. Still a close last is Germanicus. With about half a mile remaining as they're running down towards the entrance of the home straight. Hall of Famer, the daughter of Win Legend, is a length and a half in front of Salazar. In third, there is Silver Beauty. After that is Winter Renaissance, Vulcan. Hugging the veil there, Sergeant and Arm is nicely poised in fifth. After that is Temerity as the head turns for home. Round the turn and into the straight. Hall of Famer comes in home first from Salazar. And Sergeant at Arms is the one absolutely cruising up on the outside. Temerity is making a forward move. Then there's Silver Beauty. But Hall of Famer from Sergeant at Arms is galloping strongly up on the outside. Then there is Temerity, but it is going to be Sergeant at Arms from Hall of Famer battling back. Sergeant at Arms from Hall of Famer. It's Hall of Famer from Sergeant at Arms. Hall of Famer 3/4 of a length ahead. Hall of Famer wins the Indian Derby from Sergeant at Arms, Temerity. After that is Winter Renaissance.
Sergeant. And what an incredible race as always. I think this is my 13th year of anchoring the Indian Derby and I get goosebumps every single time. The winner, Hall of Famer, my God, Neil, what a race. And
unbelievable, Mandira. What a performance. Start to finish. I thought David was flowing a bit too freely in front. It's such a difficult thing to do, to go start to finish in a mile and a half. David, playing golf with me yesterday, was so confident. He told me he was going to win. And I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Extremely impressed.
What a game, Philly. What a special horse. And one of the greys has won. Look.
Yeah, you have two greys in a race. One always wins. That's the way it is. That's what they say. So that's. I'm happy with Sergeant at Arms as well.
What happened there?
He's run his race, Mandira. No hard luck stories. He was travelling great. I thought Sandesh rode a superb race on him. Gave him every chance, settled in box seat, got that slight opening between two horses into the straight. And he came at Hall of Famer. He attacked her. It looked at one stage he was going to go past her. The stamina came into play and Hall of Famer was just better.
It was just a fantastically run race, Hall of Famer. Nothing can take away from her win. Look at the crowds at the Mahalakshmi racecourse. And this is really what racing is all about. It's the champion, the new champion today for the 75th running of the Indian Derby is Hall of Famer. Trained by S. Padmanabhan and, of course, Sharmila Padmanabhan. I mean, they are the golden duo of Indian racing, that's for sure. Last year it was their horse, Desert God, that won. This year again, it's them with a win. Phenomenal.
Mandira, no doubt in my mind, I'm a young trainer. I'm pretty good at what I do. Mr. S. Padmanabhan is the best trainer in India today. Let's just give him credit for that.
Absolutely right.
There's no doubt about that.
He just... What is the reason that he manages to do what he does with his horses? You know, like tell me a little bit about what you've learned from the fact that you live in Bangalore. You train alongside him. How is he?
Well, the first thing is a man like him. He's a very intelligent and ambitious guy. You know, he's ready to take chances. And don't forget, he's got experience behind him. You're talking about a man who's trained for over 30 years. You know, there's no one even close to him on that level. So he's produced Indian Derby winner after Indian Derby winner. He's won, I think, 3 or 4 in the last few years.
Yeah.
And he's just got the habit of doing it, and he knows his job.
And what a fantastic win for Tegbir and the Dashmesh Stud Farm. Incredible indeed.
Unbelievable for Tegbir. I'm so happy for him. He wants to breed big winners, and this is the biggest one you could breed.
Absolutely. He's been campaigning in Punjab for his mother's elections, and he's come back for the day. And I mean, there can just be nothing like winning an Indian Derby. That's for sure. We're yet to experience it, but hopefully that day will come soon. There's Hall of Famer and David, that's Hall of Famer. And yes, David Allen is riding Hall of Famer. All the excitement, the frenzy, the media buzz, the connections, it's just something else.
Absolutely.
And that is the champion for 2017, the top 4-year-old racehorse in the country. There have always been questions, you know, as far as the fillies are concerned. A lot of people have always, a lot of experts, a lot of racing experts, and have always said that fillies do find it a little harder than the course, you know, to run over this distance. But obviously, I mean, Hall of Famer is just spectacular. She's taken on top field.
Hall of Famer has improved over the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
You're seeing a horse getting into top form and peaking at the right time, and that's what makes a good horse, and that's what training is all about. That's where a guy like Padmanabhan is going to score over a younger trainer, because he's done it over and over again. He's going to get his best horse to peak at the right time.
And a bit of an unconventional lead-up. Second in the 1,000 guineas, then went to Calcutta for the Calcutta Derby, missed the Indian Oaks, and then came back for the Indian Derby.
I wouldn't be so disappointed. I wouldn't have been disappointed with the 1,000 guineas when she ran second, because that was the first race, if you notice, that she ran straight. She has the habit of running out. Even today she's run out a little bit, but that race she kept straight, and that showed she's learning what to do.
Right, so Hall of Famer is the champion for 2017, the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature. Here is a confirmation of the result. Number 1, the first, the horse that finished first, Hall of Famer, new champion, ridden by David Allen, trained by S. Padmanabhan. Second, Sergeant at Arms, again a horse that has done no wrong today included. He ran his race, as Neil pointed out, ridden by Ace Sandesh, ridden superbly by Ace Sandesh and trained by Suleiman. Third, Temerity, Pacey Shroff's filly. She won the Indian Oaks, finished on third here. And number 4th, Winter Renaissance from Imtiaz Setiad, ridden by C.S. Jodha. The owner of the Derby winner 2017 is Mr. Tegbir Singh Brar of the Dashmesh stud. And this horse, Hall of Famer, is by Win Legend out of Elusive Trust. It is just the most special moment, and Hall of Famer, I would almost say like Harry Potter, came out and performed this incredible magic for all of us.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this race is the most humbling race you could have, you could experience. It could bring you back down to earth in those 2 minutes and 30 seconds, right? And it could take you up to the top of the moon as well. So this is what we live for. This is what we wake up for every morning. And if you have that desire to one day come out here and perform like this, you're always going to be good and you're always going to do well. And David Allen was absolutely prepared mentally and physically. He's not had a very good run over the last few weeks. He's had a couple of falls and, absolutely outstanding.
Take me through the race as you saw it. Just from the start, both of us were practically chewing on our fingernails and watching the race on the screen. But from the start and what you felt for each horse as they were crossing certain milestones.
Okay. What I can remember, I haven't seen the replay, but when Hall of Famer jumped out, she was quite keen, and I expected David Allen with a 4-draw to be right up there. There was no two ways about it. David Allen was going to be right up there. Lucas took over the running and then ran out at the first bend, so David was left in front. Now, again, see, these are things that happen suddenly. You're not expecting it. So this is where David Allen comes into play. When you ask me how good a jockey needs to be, this is where David Allen comes into play. He's left in front with a fancied runner, and now he's got to judge that pace. He's got to control that pace. If you look at the overall timing of the race, 2:31, not extremely fast, not a 2:29 like a Be Safe or something like that. So we might have thought that he was rolling a bit freely in front, but he had the horse well under control. That's where the jockey comes into play. He let Sergeant at Arms get right up to her, looked at one stage he was going to go past, and then kicked on again. Very good ride, very good jockey.
Incredible. That is Hall of Famer. No words for S. Padmanabhan, as you said, and let's not take anything away from Sharmila Padmanabhan, as they say, and it's absolutely right that behind every successful man is a woman. And in this case, there's no taking away from Sharmila. I mean, she always, she's been so supportive, and she runs the stable, if you ask me.
She runs the whole team, Yeah. She's the one behind the scenes, and everything gets done because of her. Hats off to her. Good
Mrs.
team
Boss.
effort. Absolutely.
All right, so Hall of Famer it is, the champion, and there is S. Padmanabhan, her trainer and her owner, Tegbir Singh Brar, all looking sharp and obviously ecstatic. This is no small deal. The Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby packaged by Signature, the richest race in the country. The overall purse is, I think, close to 6 crore rupees if you take the first, second and third, and I think even fourth into account as far as this race is concerned. So for 2.5 minutes, you have such an incredible amount of prize money. I think no other sport offers this kind of instant gratification. What do you say, Neil?
Absolutely. It's just so much that goes into this. So much goes into this. Months and months and of training go into this, and preparation and targeting and planning. And like I said, people are not going to be too happy with what I'm going to say, but Padmanabhan is the best trainer in India today. There's no two ways about it.
You've got to give credit where it's due. I mean, he's proved it time and time again. Last year was Desert God. The year before that was in the spotlight. And this year it's Hall of Famer. And there's Tegbir, there's Padmanabhan walking down the chute from the track back into the parade ring, back to the paddock, where Hall of Famer will be presented with the celebratory joule to parade around in the Kingfisher Ultra Derby joule. And that's the other tradition of the prominent races all over the world, especially the Kentucky Derby, where the Derby winning horse is presented with the joule. The joule is a blanket which is put over the horse. And in America, at the Kentucky Derby, that blanket is made out of red roses. Here in Mumbai, this was a tradition started 3 or 4 years ago, where we had various designers come in and design the joule. This year it's been presented by Kingfisher Ultra, and will be presented to the Derby winning horse. There's a lot of activity going on in the paddock. You can see these girls, these carnival girls in their feathers, and the whole theme this year has been a carnival, an extravaganza of sorts. There's been entertainment like the Cuban Brothers, Lucky Ali, various DJs, carnival girls, dancers, just to get that buzz, that excitement. And I think that too is really important, Neil, as far as racing is concerned. To keep that mix between sport and entertainment today is all important. And perhaps that's the formula for IPL as well.
Absolutely. You've got to attract the crowds, attract the young people, attract people who can come and invest in the game, pick the game up, improve the image of the sport. And that's what Bombay does the best at. You know, Bombay is the best at doing that. Simple as that.
And there you have it. Digby Singh Brar looking so happy, Padmanabhan, and David Allen astride Hall of Famer. That is the true champion today. Hall of Famer, it's her day, it's her moment, and boy is she enjoying it.
David, you're making this. This is a happy hunting ground for you. You're loving this, aren't you?
Yeah, and full credit to Philly because definitely wasn't the plan to make the run. But as we've seen on the first corner, unfortunately, Colm's horse ran out. I think it broke down, which is a bit unfortunate, but it left me in front and she pulled me out of trouble there, to be honest.
She sure did. Now tell me, up the straight, you saw from the corner of your eye, you must have known that it was Sergeant at Arms coming at you. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I could feel him there anyway, but it was probably a blessing he came because I think she was idling a little bit. And as you've seen in the Guineas here, when Miss Patmore came to me, she really dug in again. So I was confident that when she did get something to race with, you know, she gives everything, and I knew she'd find a bit more.
I'm not going to kidnap you this time, David. Very well done.
Good, thank you.
Very well done. All right.
Look this side, look this side.
Let me see if I can get David and the filly. Paddy.
Hey, Dave.
Let me look for the connections. Tegbir, the owner. Tegbir. Tegbir, wow. What are you experiencing right now?
It's elation, fulfillment. This is the pinnacle of our sport, and I miss my father. He would have loved this. And in our own colors, just makes it that much more special. So it's my job gets done when the horse leaves the farm. Paddy's done a great job with this filly from top to bottom, and I'm just blessed that David comes to ride in India, and he's ridden some absolutely immaculate races on her. Any other jockey had gone to the front, I would have had my doubts, but once David found himself in front, I knew we had this 6 furlongs out. Once I saw the splits, she's a tough filly. Once they get to her, she's tough to catch because she's a staying sort of horse. I've always maintained that. She likes it if she gets a bit of a lead, but today she showed a very different dimension, and champions tend to do that and just go to the front and do it her way. She can come from off it, she can come from a little bit off it. She's done it all, and it's great. I mean, when I sent her to Paddy, we've always had a very good relationship with Paddy and always been a very good friend, but I waited till the right horse came before I gave him a horse to train because I wanted to give him something which I thought was special.
So you've known her from the time she was born. At what stage did you realize she's special?
She's built like a tank. Usually when a horse is built as good as this, it's just, I mean, most of the time you're wrong, more often than not. But as far as she goes, I guess sometimes it comes off. You're always trying to catch lightning in a bottle. And I guess with her we got it, and she's just taken her racing so well. She's maintained her weight. We've taken her to Hyderabad, then we came to Bombay. Mile is, she just struggles a little bit in a mile. She can just draft off nicely in a mile and a half. And I was very confident when we went to the Calcutta Derby, and that's a good race to come here off. And Paddy's third time he's done it in very little time, and the timing of that race comes in really good, about a month. And it's a lot easier when a horse, when you got to train a horse over a mile and a half, they've got to be able to take that level of, you'd say, you've got to give them that sort of training, the long canters and serious pieces of work. And Paddy's way is that, a horse must, and she's taken it all, a solid gallop. I mean, when I saw the timing of a gallop, I've been busy all these days in the elections, and I've just come in today morning. and she did a brilliant gallop. And then she's just done a very nice spurt which went in 11 under, and I was like, okay, he's got her spot on, and that's the beauty of training with a man like him, that you don't really have to think too much as an owner. You just come and stand in the paddock and enjoy the fun. My job was done, like I said, the moment she left the farm. Rest is all him, and you leave things to a person and a professional like him, and it's a real pleasure dealing with a real thorough professional. You know, I mean, the way he goes about his work, I mean, the man's at the peak of his trade. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Day in, day out, he always delivers the results. And David, I mean, what can I say? I mean, he just loves India, you know. I mean, there's some guys who are just made for riding in India, and he seems to be a guy, he hustles and he does it his way. And it's just super, you know. I mean, I miss my father a lot. He would have loved this. Buying a Japanese stallion, very different. But sometimes it just works out, you know.
It does. Look, I'm going to let you get on. Enjoy it. Very well done. I'm going to see if I can find Paddy. I'm sorry I have to interrupt you guys. We're live on air. So, Paddy, you're loving this. This is becoming a happy hunting ground for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been coming to Bombay from 1984. So it's a long time I've been raiding Bombay. Those days, you know, it was smaller races like... you know, in the undercard of the big day, and now we have come to graduate it to the big field.
Paddy, what do you do now, from now to the invitation with her? She's already done so much. What, I mean, everyone would love to know what your secrets are. What do you do from now to then?
The secret is to give her plain bran and green grass.
Very, very well done, Paddy. I'm going to let you go on. Enjoy this. That's the second in a row. We look to see him again maybe next year. Good luck, Paddy.
All right, that's Hall of Famer strutting around with her celebratory winners, Jules, which we just spoke about just 2 minutes ago. That was really lovely to hear from the connections, and Tegbir got a bit emotional there. Of course, a tribute to his late father, Mr. Sunny Bra, who was one of the most loved racing personalities. There's no doubt about that. Really, really a fabulous person, and it's natural for him to have gotten emotional today. Neil, you picked it right on. Like David Allen just said, he was not planning to make the pace. He was not planning to go to the front, but he was left with no choice, it seemed.
Yeah, David was always going to be sitting up with the pace because she's a staying type of filly, and she was drawn well. There was no point trying to jump out and check her and sit out the back door. So it was common sense that he was going to be there. Surprising was to see Lucas try to take over the running. You know, that was a bit surprising. But something did go wrong, like David said. The horse ran out terribly, and he found himself in front. So what do? You ride your race from there, use your head, and that's what he did.
Fantastic. And Paddy, you know, he is just something else, as you've been saying too. So he's been here coming for the Indian Derby since 1984. And like he was saying, you know, from now till the invitation, he's going to just...
Yeah. See, everything takes time. Like he said, he's been coming there from 1984. He's gone through the whole process, the rungs of coming up. He's done it exceptionally well. But the thing is, he's wanted to do it. He's not been disappointed with losing races there or bothered about what people thought of him. So that's what a professional like me or any young professional needs to learn. Have the confidence in yourself, be patient, and keep trying.
Perseverance. There is just no replacement for perseverance. And there is all the festivities, the Cuban brothers from England and the carnival dancers. The attempt and effort this year was to make the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature, a truly wow event, as everybody wanted it. And I think we managed to get that. I think shortly we'll have the presentation ceremony where the chairman of the RWITC will probably take Shekhar onto the track. Oh, there we have it. There's a convertible that's taking Shekhar Ramamurthy to the track for the presentation, along with Vivek Jain, who is the chairman of the RWITC. This is the 75th running of the Indian Derby. Many, many years of partnership with the UB Group. And there you have it. They're all going towards the stage. The stage for the Indian Derby is on the main track, unlike the other races. And this year being flanked by these carnival dancers who've come in all the way from Brazil. The various officials, the various authorities of the various turf clubs all over the country. There's Delhi, there's Bangalore, there's Calcutta, and of course there's Mumbai. So this is the pinnacle of Indian racing, as Tegbir said. It is the Indian Derby after all. The Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature.
Great moment, absolutely fantastic moment to be walking up on that stage. It's a dream come true. All your dreams come true there. You just feel every bit of it.
There is no glory like that of the Indian Derby as far as horse racing is concerned in India. This is really truly the biggest spectacle of horse racing in the country, and the crowds are testimony to that. And it is just amazing to see each year the crowds just keep multiplying.
Yeah, sure, the crowds keep getting bigger, but they're getting used to seeing the same people up there. One question we've got to ask Mr. Padmanabhan is, does he feel the same way now? It's just happening over and over again for him.
It's becoming too much of a habit.
Yeah, too much of a habit. We've got to break that.
We've got to break that. And there's Samar as well. There's Samar Shekhawat as well from the UB group. So there's Shekhar Ramamurthy, there is Samar Shekhawat from the UB group, there's Vivek Jain on the podium, and of course there are the various representatives of the various turf clubs in India. There's Prashant Patwardhan as well from Kingfisher Ultra, and Samar coming in there, Prashant, yep. All the stakeholders, the various stewards, the officials from the RWITC.
Signature packaged water. The winner, Grey Filly, whole entries at the podium for the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature packaged water. The winner, Grey Filly, Hall of Famer, owned by Mr. Tegbir Bra, representing Saranaga Racing Private Limited. Oh, the owner's not here yet. We can see him running up. Well, while we wait for the connections to get here, I'm quickly going to walk across to the sponsor of the race, Mr. Shekhar Ramamurthy, who's the managing director of Messrs. United Breweries. Shekhar, what a wonderful event this has been. What are your impressions?
Firstly, I'd like to congratulate the Turf Club. It's their 75th year of the running of the race, so hearty congratulations. Today's race has been incredible. I love to see this crowd, and like I've been sharing with all of you people, our intent as sponsors of this event is to make it bigger, more fun, more attractive to people, and in my own mind, I'd like this to be bigger than the Melbourne Cup.
Very, very well said, and thank you so much for your contribution. I'm sure the chairman of the RWITC, Mr. Vivek Jain, has something to say about that.
Well, Mohit, as I've been telling everyone, 75th for any organization is a landmark, and much more for the sport we run. Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you, UBL, Samar, Prashant, USL. We are missing them today. But this cannot work without a brilliant partnership. We have done it 33 years with United Spirits and Dr. Malia. We have debuted with Kingfisher last year. It's a partnership that has to grow, and I'm so happy that we were able to do this today, and I hope, Shekhar, you and your team will take this to the next level in the years to come. Thank you on behalf of the club.
Thank you very much, and we now have the connections with us. Let's start all over again. The winner of the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby, partnered by Signature Packet Water, is the Grey Filly Hall of Famer, owned by Mr. Tegbir Singh Bra, representing Saranaga Racing Private Limited. Very well done, Tegbir. And if I can request Mr. Shekhar Ramamurthy to present the Derby Trophy. The winner was trained by Mr. Padmanabhan, who won this last year with Desert God. And if I can hand over the winner's check while we're waiting. The winner's check of 1,66,34,475, making it the most valuable 2.5 minutes in Indian sport. Padmanabhan, who's really enjoying Mahalakshmi Racecourse. Did it last year with Desert God, and he's back to conquer yet again. And superbly ridden by David Allen. Very well done, David. Super ride. And it becomes even more special as an owner when you've actually bred this. So to the father of this horse, Tegbir Bra, yet again representing Dashmesh. The men behind the scenes are really what make her a champion. So to the grooms of the filly, 20,000 rupees each. They've looked after her day in and day out, and they deserve as much credit. I'm going to request their master, Padmanabhan, to collect. And if I may now request Mr. Vivek Jain to honor our sponsors with a memento. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've had a magnificent Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby partnered by Signature Packaged Water. Thank you. See you in 2017. We do have a few more. And that's over to Sohail.
Incredible moments of celebration there. All the winning connections on the podium for the Kingfisher Ultra Indian Derby 2017, of course, partnered by Signature Packaged Water. The hampers being given out by the ITC group and lots of partners over there. There was Jade Garden, which had the post position draw. Beautiful venue. You should have been there maybe for next year. But really, I think it's been a fabulous day. Nothing to take away from Hall of Famer. She has been an absolute trooper, an absolute champion. Closing comments, Neil.
No hard luck stories. The best horse won today. They should be very proud of their performance. And no disgrace in defeat for Sergeant at Arms. Top performance. Well done, Suleiman.
Absolutely right. And really a fantastic tribute for the late Mr. Sunny Bra, who was a legend in his own right. Very, very happy for Dashmesh Stud, for Tegbir Bra, for S. Padmanabhan. It's time for the champions to enjoy their glory, and it's time for us to say goodbye for now. And for this year, as far as the Indian Derby is concerned, thank you very much for joining Neil and me here on Neo Sports. And until we see you next time, goodbye, and may the horse be with you.